The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
We all know January is one of the coldest months of the year, and not that cheery, fun kind of Christmas cold. Nah, just the dark, dank January cold. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is well aware of this, and that's why they're offering $40 off a furnace tune-up to keep you warm during the Minnesota cold. The last thing you want is to be huddled around an iffy space heater you bought from some shady targeted ad. Oh, and how about this? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning has now been helping Minnesotans for over 95 years. So book your appointment now at standardheating.com. That's standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
Well, like I say every Friday morning, damn near every Friday morning, let's get this nightmare over with so I can get on with my meaningless life while I still can. Welcome to the show, the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. Welcome, I said.
I'm here for you. I'm going to do my best to get you out of here.
We love you very much.
We'll get through this together, you and I.
You're looking good this morning, Josh.
I don't feel any different than any other day.
Let me ask you something, and I appreciate the support. I appreciate what you said about helping me get through the day. But I got a question for you, because you know things. Is this the weekend where they're recognizing the 50th anniversary of Saturday Night Live?
Yes.
You been paying attention to this at all?
No, not so much. Well, I'm pretty sure, I'll be honest, I guess I have seen a ton of stuff on it. Haven't really got much past the headlines. I know Netflix is going to debut that the SNL movie that came out this year. They're putting out like a thing of all the musical performances. I think it's called Ladies and Gentlemen or something like that.
And then Peacock has a documentary that's 4 episodes long, too.
Jesus.
Yeah, I watched all 4 of them. They're very good.
Oh, it's already out? So it must be this weekend then.
I'm overwhelmed by
A lot of SNL.
all the Saturday Night Live information that was just dumped on me. There's no chance I'll be watching the anniversary show. I haven't been a regular Saturday Night Live viewer since the mid-'80s, but still 50 damn years is 50 damn years. Great for that program. Makes me think back to some of my favorite bits. Steve Martin singing King Tut. The Wild and Crazy Guys.
I love those guys.
I mean, my brother and I, we thought we were funny when we were, 7, doing an imitation of the Wild and Crazy Guys, which was Steve Martin and Dan Aykroyd, the Blues Brothers. Fast forward a little ways into the 80s. Martin Short, who may be the funniest man who has ever lived. Martin Short, do you remember the Martin Short character? I believe it was Ed Grimley.
Oh, yeah. Did they make like a... let me see.
There may have been a cartoon.
Yeah. There's you're onto something. I thought they made some sort of show based.
Ed Grimley. I mean, it's been years, but Ed Grimley was this, of course, since it's Martin Short, this scrawny little man who was obsessed with Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy or something. He was just the dorkiest looking character.
His hair stood straight up in like a point, one little side of his hair.
Well, there's a great way to, I think, describe what his hair was like. In the movie Something About Mary, when she had the jid in her hair, and that was the Ed Grimley hairstyle. They ripped that bit off from Ed Grimley, but Ed Grimley would get very excited, and his voice would kind of drop like this, I must say. That was I loved that when I was about a 13-year-old kid. Billy Crystal and Christopher Guest with the "I hate when that happens" bit. Do you recall that?
Yeah, that was
one,
good.
Josh?
I know what you mean. I hate when that happens.
Yeah, I hate when that happens.
I know what you mean.
Right. Eddie Murphy, Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. There was a time when I was dialed into Saturday Night Live. I'm sure I'm forgetting some great bits.
It reminds me a lot of my uncles. Even before I could ever watch it, my parents wouldn't let me stay up late. But my uncles would recreate some of these bits when we were little, and they were so good at it.
When I was a really young kid, it was The Gong Show, and it was Saturday Night Live.
That's awesome. They had uncles willing to recreate bits. It was like YouTube before YouTube.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And a couple of them were hilarious.
So there you go. So there's lots going on. You guys informed me of some things that I wasn't even aware of.
They loved the one that one of my uncles loved the most was the John Lovitz. Yeah, that's the ticket. He loved that bit.
John Lovitz also tremendously underrated, in my opinion.
I'm so lost. I don't think I've seen a single episode of Saturday Night Live.
Well, yeah, you
Are you
haven't.
serious? Really?
Yeah, that was never my parents' thing, so.
Well, here's the thing, Ashley. Since you've been alive, what year were you born?
97.
You didn't miss much between 97 and today, as far
That's
as
very true.
That's my. I just Saturday Night Live hasn't grabbed me. The last time it grabbed me, you weren't even alive.
All right, that makes me feel better.
I mean, in the mid to late 90s, I guess you had Farley and Will Ferrell. There were some, but the 70s and 80s, that's when it would just knock your socks off. So don't feel bad about it.
So people are saying now in February there's going to be a special. So
February 16th.
So it's
So
not.
why are they releasing everything right now then? So now it's just for the heck of it?
Maybe to prep you.
Yeah, build up hype.
So tomorrow night's episode won't be the big one. That's a month away.
Nope, yeah, exactly.
Right. And someone made a movie about Saturday Night Live. So the story of how it began.
Kind of, I think it was like the 90 minutes prior to the first episode. I haven't seen it yet, but that was the description I'd read.
It's all the chaos leading up to the very first episode, and it's kind of done in real time. It's like a 90-minute movie, and it's literally like the 90 minutes before they went to air the first time.
I've heard that's actually really, really good.
Hey, Ashley.
Yeah.
The Minneapolis Boat Show called, and they want to know why you haven't mentioned that you're going to be there tomorrow. What they said was, if this is how it's going to be, they're just going to go ahead and hire Dana next year.
I was
In
waiting
a
for
Speedo,
today.
standing on the front of a boat.
I even told you yesterday, I'm like, you got to talk about this thing. Because
I was waiting for it today because there's been like an annoying amount of commercials playing, so I didn't want to just absolutely engulf people
Well, they're
in
pissed.
the information.
I think I've been talking about it more than you have. I've been
called-
talking about it every single night on the night show.
You might have a better chance to bring it up naturally when it's just you, Wapple.
They called, and they're pissed. So what's going on?
I will be at the Minneapolis Convention Center tomorrow, where the Minneapolis Boat Show is going to be taking place in partnership with Progressive Insurance, by the way. I'll be there from 1 to 3, and I'll be like color commentating the Bago tournament that's going to be going on. So
What is Bago?
it's bags.
Oh.
Yeah, it's modified a little bit.
Cornhole, yeah.
Yeah, it's modified a little bit so that it doesn't take, 7 hours to get through the games. But there's 4 contestants that get picked, and they all compete against each other, and then whoever wins at the end wins a ski-doo, which is super cool.
A ski-doo?
Yeah, it's like
It's a
personal
sea-doo.
water.
S-E-A.
Oh yeah,
you really
sea-doo.
say-
Sorry, I was thinking of water skis.
She said-
water skiing.
No, it's okay.
I thought you said ski-doo. I want one of those,
Yeah, they
I'll
are
never
super
use it.
sweet.
but it'd be nice to have.
I bet they're a riot. So go see Ashley tomorrow from 1 to 3 at the Boat Show.
Yeah, you can still sign up to be a part of the Bago tournament too. And I want people to know that you don't have to be super good at bags. No offense to the 4 contestants that played last year. They even admitted it themselves. They were not good at bags.
I remember
at
you-
all.
I remember you telling me, I wish I would have pumped this more because, the people that played and the person that won, they sucked.
Now watch. This time there's going to be a ringer that just kicks everybody's butt. But I think it's worth signing up. If you get a chance to play, I think you could definitely win.
How do you sign up?
You go to MinneapolisBoatShow.com.
I think you could go to 93x.com too.
Oh, I did not know
Why
that.
would you
Nobody
do that?
told
Our
me that.
website's awful.
It's okay that you called a sea-doo a ski-doo. It really is. Many years ago, up at my dad's fishing shack. This was mid-'80s when those damn jet skis first cut loose on the world.
Yeah.
The stand-up jet skis. Oh, there was a time when I was probably the top jet skier in town. I really was. My buddy had a pair of them, and the two of us would always go out onto Lake Minnetonka. I could go upside down, back. I could do anything on a jet ski.
Was it a stand-up
That's
jet
cool.
ski or
Yeah,
sit down?
like I said, the original stand-up ones.
Oh, okay.
I went all the way down to New Orleans on a jet ski.
Wow.
I was back within 5 hours. But this is before I became the best jet skier in town. This is mid-'80s, right when they came out. And way up in the middle of nowhere at my dad's fishing shack, 2 guys go whipping by My dad's fishing shack was on a river, and these two young guys go whipping by on their stand-up jet skis. I was aware that they existed, and my brother, the younger people on this fishing trip were aware of them. My dad was totally unaware of them. So when they went by, he said, "What the hell was that?" My dad had brought one of his most hillbilly buddies. And I got along with almost all of those guys back when I was a kid. This guy was just a pile of garbage. I don't know why my dad ever hung out with this guy. He was disgusting. He was stupid. But it was just a pal of my dad's. And he didn't like the looks of them sumbitches right away. He was one of those guys that got angry at anything new that crossed his path. So you called a Sea-Doo a Ski-Doo? This is what this dumb bastard said in 1985 when the jet skis went by. This friend of my dad's, he goes, "Wow, look at them long-haired punks on them friggin' riding around on those snow jets." And my brother and I had to turn on him. We said, "Do you see any snow? It's friggin' July."
Well,
snow jets.
There is a Ski-Doo, and that's why I thought what an odd thing to give away at the boat show, because a Ski-Doo's a snowmobile.
My folks had a Ski-Doo, Skidoo, however you want to say it, snowmobile when we were kids, yeah.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's where that mix-up was.
I'm sure that's what happened, exactly.
Friggin' snow jets.
Yeah, my parents are going to be at the boat show, too, hanging out with me. So that's exciting. If anybody wants to say hi to my folks.
What's happening?
My parents will be there, too.
You
and
want to advertise that your parents will be there?
Yep, they're super excited. They're very nice. They like meeting listeners, so don't be afraid to say hi. My dad's kind of intimidating.
I was going to say your dad's intimidating.
He gives off that vibe, but he's a nice guy. He'll probably have a couple of beers while he's there, and that'll loosen him up a bit.
Your dad has a very firm handshake.
Yes, he does. And his hands are calloused because of the hard labor.
And they're large.
Yeah, they are huge.
But I do have very soft and tiny hands. Never worked a day in my life.
Your hands are supple.
Yeah, I've had girls comment on it.
Yeah.
My gosh, your hands are softer than mine.
Okay, let's. We better call someone and change the liner now. It's Meet Ashley and her parents tomorrow at the Minneapolis.
They came last year, actually, and they had a blast. I ended up hanging out because I did this gig last year as well, and I ended up hanging out probably like 5 extra hours looking at all the boats. So there's some nice boats there. People live a different life than me, that's for sure.
Bug-Eye Wagon Jesus has a good point, Ashley. Meeting the parents on a first date, that's a little forward, but whatever, he said. Those can be dangerous. I love going to those shows. Love them, all of them. It doesn't matter how into it I am or not. And there are times where you think, well, I could probably sell a handful of things and pay this off over 10 years.
Yep.
They're so pretty.
Gosh, yeah.
The new boats or the new cars or the new motor, whatever event you're at, they're just so pretty. I have been a boat owner now for, oh my God, almost 20 years. And I've been very lucky. I haven't crashed yet. And the boat has held together wonderfully, considering 20 years has gone by. You know who's a terrible boat driver? My wife.
Is she really? That surprises me because she's very bright.
Yeah.
She's not a safe boater.
Is she just real, wild and aggressive?
No. No. She gets easily frightened behind the wheel of a boat. She is terrific with a motor vehicle. I'll give her all the credit in the world with a motor vehicle. But with a boat, I'll give you a couple of examples, Cubby. She's the type of boat captain that will completely walk away from the wheel at full speed.
Oh, no.
In a high traffic situation. She did this to the two of us a couple summers ago.
Oh, dude, I just got the chills. What is she doing?
She's nuts. We're in Wayzata Bay, and it's very busy. And she wants to drive out the bay. She wants to head away from Wayzata back towards Excelsior. And she says, "Can I drive?" And she had driven a few times. So I said, "Yeah, go ahead." So it's very busy. She pinned it pretty good. We're going at a pretty good clip. And I'm just sitting there saying nothing. I don't want to be the guy that's like, "Well, look out for that guy. Look out for this guy. There's someone behind us." I don't want to bother her. She's a grown woman. She can figure it out. So I don't say anything. But this is what I witness. We're going at a pretty good clip. A lot of traffic coming at us, a lot of traffic to the sides and behind us. Her hat blows off of her head. She walks away from the steering wheel to the back of the boat to get her hat. And I jumped into the driver's seat and I said, what the hell's the matter with you? And then she's mad at me for snapping at her. I said, you can't walk away when there's... You see what I'm saying?
Was she maybe a couple of THC seltzers into the day?
Zero.
Really?
Zero. She chose her hat over our lives.
Oh, is it a good hat?
And the safety of all the other boaters on the lake.
That's insane.
Oh, yeah. What was the hat, out of curiosity?
It said... It was one of those hats with the foam boobs on it.
Oh, those are pretty cool.
And it's wrapped in a bikini.
All right, now I can...
And if you pull a string, a set of hands clap.
Oh.
I don't know what friggin' hat it
Dude,
was.
that sounds like a sweet hat.
It kind of makes sense now.
She also walked away from the wheel once. Okay, so the first example I gave you was just being absent-minded. You don't walk away. She chose her hat over the livelihood of all the boaters on Wayzata Bay that afternoon. The second scenario was strictly fear-based. I said, go ahead, you can drive. And out of nowhere, a storm swept in. I mean, like out of damn nowhere. Suddenly, it's pouring rain, and it's blowing like a son of a bitch. So, of course, the rollers begin. Pretty good wake kicks up quickly. Again, I just sat and let her handle the situation. Because it got too rough, she walked away from the steering wheel and said, you go.
I'm kind of surprised because the two of us could sit for hours and talk organization and stuff like that.
Oh, dude.
And, just being, productivity apps or something. So I'm surprised she didn't have a whole thing mapped out and all of it planned.
You are correct, Josh. 99 times out of 100, she is the most organized person you'll ever run into. Strategic, thinks things out, not a spur of the moment, fly off the handle type of a person. We found her weakness. So she walks away from the steering wheel. Again, she's got her at a pretty good clip. It's rough as hell. She walks away and says, oh no, you go. And so it takes me a while because it's so rough, I'm battling my way to the steering wheel.
Oh, no.
My legs aren't what they used to be, you know what I mean? So I could have easily, at any rate.
Do you mind me sharing something personal about her? It's nothing, too
Of course.
personal.
I trust you.
I find this hilarious. So she texts me, you and I, we use the same contractor, a buddy of mine, and she texted me the other day, and she's like, hey, when you're telling the contractor what you want done around the house, it's completely normal to make a PowerPoint, isn't it? So she put together a PowerPoint presentation. And I asked him about it. He's like, this is the best thing anyone's ever done. It's so clear and spelled out.
Yeah, she's like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's incredible.
That's why it surprises me that she would have that weakness. My wife is the opposite. She is a horrible driver.
Oh yeah, you've told some great stories about your wife's driving.
I mean, it's one of those things where she's like, oh, I have to get off on that exit that I'm right next to at this point.
Oh, I hate when people do that.
I'm going to cross 4 lanes of traffic.
Oh, my gosh, I hate that.
My favorite scenario you've ever described for us on your wife's driving, and you know what? This enters my mind almost every day when I drive, is that when she drives through an intersection, she never acknowledges anything that's going on the right or the left.
No.
She just a beeline through the intersection.
Green light, no reason to look.
People on the right and the left are supposed to stop.
Yeah.
So she just trusts that they will stop as opposed to checking to see if, of course, not in every situation do you have the time to do that, but if you do, but she never acknowledges anything other than what's dead ahead.
No, and speed limits, I mean...
Does she not have
do they have speed limits on roads? She doesn't know. She's not sure if they have those. So she won't let me... She will never drive when I'm with her. I'm because I'll comment, and I'm always very calm, even when I'm panicked on the inside.
Yeah.
But she's the opposite, because she's incredible as a boat operator. I mean, she is so good.
As a boat operator?
Yeah, she can drive anything.
Oh.
She's so good at driving a boat, but she can't figure it out.
Just being more cautious.
Well, yeah, everybody's got their strengths and weaknesses.
She's just like, when she drives, I don't know what planet she's on. She's in her own world.
The other thing about the wife in the boat, is she's not afraid to start trouble. You go through a narrow channel. And, of course, anyone in their right effing mind, if you acknowledge the buoys, or even if there are no regulations in place, common sense tells you to dial it back a little bit. You're going through a narrow channel that can barely fit 2 boats, right? I try to be patient and make it a single file type of an operation, but you can't. I'm not going to sit there all day and wait to get through this channel. Sometimes you do have to go 2 boats wide. And there are times when there's a 19-year-old kid or something in his daddy's $8 million wake boat who does not want to dial it back. Now, that pisses me off a little bit, pisses everybody off.
Yep.
But I rarely say much. Let this kid be a jack-off. I'll just go about my own business. The wife isn't afraid to stand up in the boat and say, did you see the no wake sign? Apparently not, hot shot. No wake. And then
I love her.
Then I got some. Then some 19-year-old kid who's probably on meth is angry with me now.
He's not going to fight her. He's going to fight you.
Yeah, this kid's going to jump on the boat and choke me out. So I see what the young kids are doing. They're smoking rock on the wake boats.
Yeah, they're all high on Molly.
Yeah.
Does she have kind of like a wild streak, a thrill-seeking streak? Is that kind of what? No, it's not. It's just absent-mindedness on the boat or something?
You mean, are we going back to her as...
Is she an adrenaline junkie in some way?
No. She's just not afraid to holler at people and things like that. I'm like,
that.
look, I'm too old to get into a karate fight on the water with a 19-year-old. Just let him be an idiot. Let's just go, throw the anchor in 8 feet of water and float like we old people should be doing.
Didn't she used to race motocross though, or am I thinking of Jeremy McGrath?
You're thinking of Tucker Hibbert.
Oh, Tucker.
Yeah. I did not marry Tucker Hibbert.
You did not?
No.
But you know what? I'll tell you what. If you did, I could see why.
Yeah. Hilarious. My wife in a motocross competition.
Yeah, I think, Ashley, you know who that is, right?
No, I don't. Not off the top of my head.
Look him up and tell me.
Jeremy McGrath. Oh.
No, we're talking about Tucker now.
Oh,
if she married Tucker.
He's gorgeous, too.
Tucker McGrath. That's what you said?
Tucker.
Hibbert.
Hibbert.
Sea-Doo, Ski-Doo, Tucker McGrath.
Now go like this. Tucker, Bo Bucker.
No.
Banana, and then you can finish it.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what. Catch Ashley tomorrow at the boat show.
Nah, dude. I would normally find him attractive, but he looks a lot like my ex-husband's best friend that I absolutely hate. So
he looks like your ex-husband's best friend who you hate.
Yeah, a little too much. Nah, but he looks cool.
How tough is that?
Cool stuff.
Having that situation. I'm lucky. I've never been with a girl who I hated a friend of theirs.
I put up with it because sometimes he was really awesome, and then sometimes he was really terrible.
Was this drinking related, perhaps?
Yes.
So he became a different person when he drank.
Yeah.
I dated a girl years ago where I was not a fan of her 2 best friends.
It's hard.
I had to...
How often did you have to see him? I mean, was this something where they spent a lot of time together?
No, not a lot of time. And the good thing was the girl that I was with at the time, she acknowledged that her 2 best friends were idiots.
Oh, that
wasn't
helps quite a bit. Yeah.
And then when we chewed them out, remember when we used to go to Izades?
Izades.
And these 2 gals came with us and had...
Oh, that's right.
2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I let them both have it.
Oh, I would love to see that.
It was
okay, yeah, I know
ugly.
what you're talking about now.
It was ugly? What kind? Oh, was it really bad? Did you say a lot of regretful things?
No, that's not what made it ugly. To make a short story long, I'm dating this girl. She invites her 2 best friends to come with to Izades for a weekend winter party. We used to have them every year here at the radio station, and then we ran out of money. So these 2 gals showed up, my girlfriend's best friends, and they were doing this routine all weekend. Oh, look at all the people here. Oh, my God. The people here are so gross.
Oh, man.
It comes time for a meal.
The people where?
At Izades.
Izades.
And then it came time for a meal. Ew, look at this steak. Oh, the fries are cold. Ew, they just bitching. And everyone there is so uncool compared to them. We're a rock station. Oh, my God. Who's the band tonight? Oh, yuck. Hard rock. So they got on everybody's nerves. And finally, I'd been drinking for 17 hours, and we're wrapping up the night, having some beers in the room there. And they had one more thing to bitch about. And then I cut loose, man. I went freaking nuts. The ugly part is that they didn't defend themselves. They just started crying.
Oh, I hate that. That's not fair.
They did not. Because they knew they had no defense.
They're on a free trip.
Yeah. No, trust me, Cubby. I pressed that.
I bet you
that information on them. And my girlfriend at the time didn't say a word because she knew they had it coming. So couldn't throw them out. It was 35 below zero. So they just kind of had they crashed awkwardly on the couch that night. The next morning, we didn't speak much. I'll tell you that.
That is so weird.
I was so, like I said, I've been very lucky in that regard, and I was thinking about it, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. A few of my closer friends are total dicks, and my wife's put up with that for 20 years. But she's so laid back, she'll kind of deal with anybody.
You're really friends with total dicks?
Well, you've mentioned that before. There's a couple that are dicks, and they know it. They know they are. Or if I meet someone, go, hey, don't you hang with so-and-so? I'll be like, oh, yeah, it's one of my better friends. Like, he's kind of a dick. I'm like, yeah, I know this. I've seen it.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
Not to me, though, and that's what matters.
You're not wrong.
Oh, no, they're dicks to me, too, sometimes.
What the heck, Josh?
Even Josh's kids are dicks to him. Of course his good friends are dicks to him as well.
It keeps you humble.
Yeah.
What a situation we're in here on a Friday morning. You're a terrific crowd. A little bit later on, we'll get Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder into the mix. You know what? We're just going to let her buck and see what gives way. You're a terrific group of people. We'll be back in a few minutes here on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Dana here for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. We all know January is one of the coldest months of the year, and not that cheery, fun kind of Christmas cold. Nah, just the dark, dank January cold. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is well aware of this, and that's why they're offering $40 off a furnace tune-up to keep you warm during the Minnesota cold. The last thing you want is to be huddled around an iffy space heater you bought from some shady targeted ad. Oh, and how about this? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning has now been helping Minnesotans for over 95 years. So book your appointment now at standardheating.com. That's standardheating.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. Actor Michael Rosenbaum, he knows some of the most talented people in the business, and now he's getting the inside story.
Let's get inside of Heather Graham. I can't look at like Boogie Nights and think that you were a nerd, Johnny Knoxville. You think you're going to do another Jackass movie? What do your kids want?
Dad's not going to do that. Yeah. You got to be careful how you choose your heroes.
Hear from some of the most fascinating people in pop culture today.
Danny Trejo. You're a legend. Do you know you're a legend?
You can't be a legend having this much fun.
The Inside of You podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Next time you want to bitch about how tough your company is to work for, remember this here. Remember this one. A Chinese company has everybody pissed off. What's the word now? Word has spread that they went ahead and installed surveillance cameras in the bathrooms there at work so they could see which of their employees spent too much time on bathroom break. They'd for real watch their employees cut turds. And if they thought an employee was effing off too long in the john, they would then post pictures online of these folks on what they call the Wall of Shame.
Oh, no.
I have no idea. Well, I suppose, it's a lot different over there, right?
I've heard stories, yeah.
But the The bathroom, too, looks like a prison. It's not like it's a hole basically with a bucket in there. Everything about that place sucks.
Weird.
I didn't take a close look at the bathroom. And not.
You were watching the potty?
Yeah, not pretty. Not a.
No. I mean, the bathrooms here are terrible.
Doesn't look comfortable.
Our bathroom here is so in such disrepair. The toilet leaks. It's falling off the wall. It's like mounted to the wall. It's falling off, so they had to put a support underneath it. Only one of the 2 sinks works.
There's a bucket underneath one of the sinks.
Yeah, and that is definitely a science experiment in that thing.
You guys have got it bad. The women's bathroom is very nice. We have perfume in there for anybody to use, lotion, and we also have dental picks.
Well, this is how you know when your general manager for 20-some years was a woman.
Yep.
Yeah, the bathrooms here in this building aren't anything special, and they're always so cold. So, again, this company in China, cameras above the toilets there at the workplace, and if you screw around too long, they'll post pictures of you online. It says here now, for many years, plenty of Chinese companies have been trying to discourage workers from spending too much time in the bathroom. Jesus, how uptight can you be? Some of the other ideas companies have tried over there in China, they've installed countdown clocks on the stalls. So it's like sitting out 2 minutes for roughing in the National Hockey League. Once you sit your ass on that stool, you got a couple minutes to get it done. The clock is running.
You bragged your buddies. I had a nice buzzer beater today in the stall.
Absolutely. What else did they do? 1 or 2 companies have only allowed their employees. This would hamstring my guy, Josh. There are 1 or 2 companies that have only allowed their employees 1 trip to the head per day.
Yeah,
you windmill in and out of the John all morning long.
Yeah, well, it's not always going to. Sometimes I like just to stretch my legs, but I certainly
get a little exercise.
In the morning is when I do all my peeing. You and I are opposite in that regard.
Yeah,
it's the only time I drink a ton of caffeine, so that'll get me going. And then after here, it's not so much.
I almost never urinate until.
I'm mostly thinking about women that are on their period. I would make that everybody's problem if they only allowed me to do that once a day.
That's hilarious. It's everyone's problem now. All right. 2 can play that game.
What I really dig about this story is there is someone who works for this company whose sole responsibility is to monitor everyone that goes in and out the John.
What do you do?
And then they estimate... By watching the live feed, they estimate, okay, is this person effing off? Are they getting down to business right away? That's their gig. And again, if you don't cut to the chase quick enough, you will be shamed online. I'd quit faster than you can say Jack Robinson.
I mean, you could, Ashley, to your point about making it their problem, you could give yourself diarrhea on purpose. Just huff that bucket we've got in our bathroom. Like, all right. We can. How about this?
You're just chugging Miralax.
I wouldn't stick around. I would quit. And on my way out, I might even bring the boss a special gift that I made for him in the company bathroom. You want to see what I'm doing in there? Here's a real good look at it, son. The name of the company, in case anyone was in the middle of filling out an application when we started the story, the name of the company is Lixoon Electroacoustics, whatever that means. Now, an official statement from the company. This is cute. When they were asked about this is a really cute move because they try and spin this story as something that their employees wanted. Here's the quote. The staff were spending too much time in the bathroom smoking or playing games on their phones, which made other staff uncomfortable. Oh, you did it for the people, huh?
Nobody cared. Well, maybe one person.
I'm not buying that.
Some people are texting in about some of the rules at their work, and I can't believe that exists here.
But what are some of the things they're telling you?
Just the amount of times you can go, that people do pay attention. And I'm sure some of it's just your coworkers pardon the pun, but giving you crap, right? That kind of thing.
That seems like it should be very illegal.
When I landscaped, there was a guy that would, anytime something like shuffling rock or whatever, he'd end up spending a lot of time in the bathroom on that day, or the porta potty.
I remember a couple of my warehouse gigs when I was a young kid. Yeah, when things really picked up, when it really got busy, I would often go pretend like I had a stomach ache in the bathroom for 20 minutes just so the other boys would handle all the heavy lifting and then come back and say, boy, I feel much better now. What happened? Did I miss anything?
I had a job at the zoo one summer, and one day a week you had to get there like 6 a.m., and I was 21 at the time, and 6 a.m. is not an ideal time for a recently turned 21-year-old. So on those days, there'd be nobody at the zoo yet. There's this one bathroom on the back that was only used for concerts. It was always pristine and sparkly. I'd drive my golf cart up there, I'd sit on the floor, and I'd take a nice little nap. It was a beautiful thing.
In the bathroom.
In the bathroom.
I love that.
Wasting time at work, that can be an art. Some people can make a straight-up art out of wasting time at work. Okay, real quick, let's wrap this up. Spying on folks while they take a squeege. This whole gimmick that we've been talking about has, quote, sparked outrage on Chinese social media. A lot of folks are claiming that this is an invasion of your privacy, Rat 1985, and or possibly straight up against the law, Striper 1990. The plain truth is that gong shows like this are nothing new in China, Josh. A lot of times folks just have to suck it up.
Sounds pretty terrible to live there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Their food's awesome, though. Whole frog protection, Jesus. Can you imagine the help wanted post for the person that watches folks pee and poop? It could just say, here'd be the headline, Freaks Wanted. Yeah, you probably have to kind of enjoy that sort of thing, I'd imagine.
I've never worked anywhere where, as far as I knew, anyone was paying attention to who was going to the bathroom when and how often. I can't imagine. That's not your business, okay? I know I work here. I know you're paying me to get a job done. But if I got to go to the bathroom, I got to go to the bathroom. Mind your own friggin' business. I'm very happy to say that out loud. I've never been involved with a company that was that uptight. I feel sorry for some of you that have to deal with that crap.
It's like school. I was trying to think if there's ever a situation in life where that was the case, and school was it. Sometimes
that was so ridiculous.
They would say, no, we don't believe you got to go. Or you'd grab the giant ruler that has the key attached to it to go to the bathroom.
The nasty hall pass.
That was actually crazy that you'd have to request permission to use the restroom.
Peed my pants in first grade because the teacher was so mad at me she wouldn't let me go to the bathroom.
Dude, I did the same 1st through 7th grade.
Oh,
different reasons.
I remember some of my high school teachers saying, like, oh, you just wait till you get to college. It's going to be like this, too. And then it wasn't at all. Like, you could get up and leave.
Yeah, you weren't even required to go to class in college.
Well, I was required for a few. Yeah, those classes were the worst. When you look through the syllabus on day one and they would say that they actually take attendance, stupid.
Well, I remember, when I went to community college, for the ones that took attendance, which was maybe 2, people would come in, have the attendance, walk right out pretty much about 2 minutes later.
Oh, yeah. I had, like, the emergency phone call down because I felt bad just, like, getting up and leaving in the middle of the teacher talking. So I'd pretend like, oh, gosh, like somebody's calling me. It's so important.
Pabst Swilling Forklift Jesus has texted in to say, we have a guy at work we call Foreskin because when things get hard, he disappears.
That's excellent.
One of my buddy's dads called some of our friends the Blister Brothers because they show up when the work's all done.
I don't get the...
Oh, I got it. It took me a second, but I get it.
The Blister Brothers, so blisters on your hands, they don't have any.
Well, then why wouldn't they be the no blister brothers?
Yeah, because once you do all the work, you get the blisters, so they show up.
But they're not doing all the work.
Yeah, they show up when the work's all done.
I'm not blaming you or your dad, I'm blaming me for not understanding that. I feel stupid.
But if they're not doing the hard work, then why would they be the blister brothers?
It's sarcasm?
Because it's like a blister. You know, the blisters come in after you've done all the hard work.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
there you go. All right.
Now I got it.
Okay.
Now you know what?
They are the blisters.
I wanted you
Yeah.
guys to have the moment I did.
Yes.
It's all in the delivery, Wapple.
Yeah, so I thought you were saying they had blisters.
Right.
No.
I
no.
gotcha. They are the blisters.
They
That's
are
very
the
good.
blisters.
I told you it was my fault.
Du hast.
This is good. Boy, I got to get glasses. I think it's Air Filter Jesus said, whenever someone brings up community college, he thinks of the great Terry Trainline, a good friend of ours, former KQ legend in the business. She used to say, it's high school with smoking. Although you could smoke at my wife's high school, and they had a daycare.
The daycare is
The
what
daycare
really
always
gets me.
That fascinates me.
Yeah. Community college. One day. I went to community college for one day. North Hennepin Community College. I convinced myself, I don't know why. I convinced myself maybe when I was about 21 or 22, okay, I have to do something. And naive as I was, I thought I have to get some form of education. I had absolutely nothing in mind. And what I mean by that is I didn't have anything planned for what's the term, a major, right?
Yep.
Am I going for this? Am I going for that? I had nothing like that in mind. I just thought I have to sign up for a community college, sign up for a couple of classes, and maybe then I will progress from there. Sat down. It was some type of an English class, if I remember correctly. It was an hour long. And when it was over, I got in my car and drove home, never went back.
I get it.
It was about 15 minutes into this hour-long class where I realized I have absolutely no business being here. I immediately tuned the teacher out. Sad but true. One day.
At
Sound
least
like
you
a blister
realized.
brother right there.
Yeah. Because you are the blister.
This guy's lucky. He didn't end up in pieces. Some effing donkey over there in Germany was able to survive while riding on the outside of a high-speed train. And some of you might be asking, how high speed are we talking? We're talking 175 F.me running miles per hour. This is a 40-year-old German feller. He is. What's funny is the author of the story wants to bust this dude's balls for not having a valid ticket to ride the train in the first place. Jesus, who cares? Here's what happened. You know how these trains have scheduled stops, obviously. The train stops and sits there for 10 minutes or whatever and lets everyone get out and take a leak. And then they bust ass down the tracks once again. So dude climbed on out the train at one of these stops so he could smoke himself a damned cigarette. He wasn't paying attention when they gave everyone the all aboard. And next thing the dude knows, the doors are a-closing on the train and they're beginning to roll. And he's standing there having a puffy puff. Dude didn't want to stand around waiting for the next train to come by, so he jumped onto what they call here the bracket between the two train cars. And I think you can picture that, right? And he held on to cables while that bitch picked up speed all the way up to 175 German miles per hour. That must have been one hell of a sensation.
That's like Tom Cruise stuff right there.
Yes. 100%, Josh.
Hanging
like,
on the plane.
Imagine sitting on the bumper of Clint Boyer's car. I'm trying to come up with a NASCAR drive. Sitting on the hood of Clint Boyer's number 14 NASCAR at Talladega. That must have been horrifying for this guy. Witnesses called the cops. Can you imagine living in some little German village and seeing the train go by and there's Dinkus in the middle of the two cars kind of hanging onto cables like he's on the world's fastest tow rope, you know, just So witnesses called the cops. Cops called the engineer and he pulled over. I know that's probably not the term when it comes to trains, but he pulled over. I think it says here that the dude did travel a good 30 miles on that little platform between the train cars.
Well, it probably took a couple of seconds.
Yeah, right. Super Adolf Osborne, we should call him, shouldn't we, Josh, since he's from Germany. Super Adolf, he told the cops, because the cops obviously said, dude, what the hell's the matter with you? Why didn't you just wait for the next? He said he had all his luggage on the train, didn't want to lose it. He risked horrible death for his luggage. Probably had, maybe he had some valuable items in there, but he wasn't.
Documents.
Yeah, he wasn't hurt at all. But they're going to charge him with some chicken dick crime. Come on.
He survived.
Yeah, let this guy just go home.
Back to the topic of funny nicknames for coworkers who just don't do any of the work. Up north, Jesus said they've got a guy they call 007, like James Bond. 0 work, 0 ambition, 7 bathroom breaks.
People are very clever. Very clever. Whenever one of these here type of stories gets dumped into our Stupid News report, we usually get a text that says something along the lines of process of elimination or something. I can't think of the slogan. I'm sure you can help me out once I throw the headline your way. Says here now then, a stupid effing idiot in, for God's sake, how do I say this? Pakistan. A stupid idiot in Pakistan. He got himself mauled by a lion at a lion breeding farm. I've never heard that said out loud before. Okay, dude, he was damn near killed dead on the spot by the lion. And yes, he did. He jumped into the lion's cage so he could shoot a TikTok video. What's the slogan? It's something like
natural selection.
That's what it is. Yep. Natural selection.
I have
Darwinism.
Zero sympathy.
So again, he goes to a lion breeding farm, jumps into a cage with a lion because he wanted to shoot himself a fun TikTok video. He goes by the name of Muhammad, kid in his late 20s. Hopped into the lion's cage, obviously without the permission of the farm owner. Here we go. The dude, he walked up to one of the lions, who, by the way, I would imagine would rather not be at the breeding farm. So they're a little pissy right from the get-go. And I know there's probably texts coming in right now saying, a breeding farm, he's tapping ass all day. He probably loves it. Hell no, they hate being locked up. That's why lions killed everyone over there at Erotic Joe's place on that television show. What was
Tiger
it?
King.
Exotic Joe.
Exotic Joe?
Joe Exotic.
That guy. Gosh.
The kid walks up to a lion pointing his cellular telephone at the kitty. The lion is like a lot of us. They couldn't give two pumps about TikTok, so the lion charged the kid and tore the kid's ass out from the outside in. Can you picture that? He tore the ass out of the kid from the outside in. That's what the lion did to the...
Got a claw up there.
Yeah. Yeah. The farm owner rescued the kid, took him to the hospital where the kid is clinging to life.
How's
great.
The lion?
Now the lion's fine.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if it was one of those places, like, even though it was the kid's fault because he attacked it, bad outcome.
There's no word in here about them gassing this lion. But the local wildlife department is now going after the farmer. That's just what he needs. Thanks, kid. Now I've got the wildlife department standing on my nuts. Farmer just trying to breed lions over there in Pakistan.
That's always the worst, right? I don't know if it really happened or if it's just an old wives' tale where a burglar fell through, trying to break into a house, fell through a skylight, got all cut up, and the homeowner was sued.
Ridiculous.
I guess the reason the law is kicking the farmer in the ass is because of a new law recently cut loose over there, cracking down on keeping big cats and such in urban areas.
That's probably good.
And ironically enough, there is a new law prohibiting shooting TikTok videos with wild animals. But strange timing here, I guess. You know what they got living over there? Folks will put these in their homes. Lions, cheetahs, tigers, pumas, jaguars. Try getting a good night's sleep over at their place.
I watch a lot of those videos of people that like have those kind of pets just in their home.
Could you get a good night's sleep in their place the first night they have you over?
I don't think so.
No.
Hell no.
No.
But I slather myself in bacon grease every night before bed.
I understand like wanting to be friends with those kind of animals, but I mean, how many stories have we heard about people that have been friends with them for a decade and then they just flip on them one day?
They go lion.
Yeah.
Or even snakes, too.
Yep.
Like the boa constrictors, and then they eat them.
A boa constrictor. I am being eaten by a boa constrictor. Who wrote that, Josh? We read those books when we were kids.
Was it like Shel Silverstein?
I'm going to go along with it.
Is that who it was?
I'm going to go along.
I don't know that for sure.
They say in Pakistan, folks will keep wild and exotic animals as pets because it's a symbol of power and wealth. They say the trend of keeping wild animals as pets has increased with the rise of social media. I love it. Something new I can blame on social media. In the year 2023, see, this is not an isolated incident over there, I guess. In the year 2023, someone's pet leopard escaped and ran loose in a neighborhood. It ran wild for days. It pulled the arms and legs off a few poor bastards just trying to walk down the street. They bled out. It ate a few stray dogs, and another guy in the neighborhood complained that it cut a fat deuce in his backyard.
Oh, I'd imagine it'd be something to see. We used to be a target for coyote poop at a house we rented a few years back. And I remember thinking, like, that's really rude. Somebody's letting their dog poop in our yard constantly. Mm-hmm. Then I saw, oh, no, it's just a bunch of coyotes that hate our guts for some reason.
Oh, that's
scary. Did you catch them on camera or something, or how could you tell the difference?
I saw them when I was pulling out of the driveway on my way to work.
Oh, that's terrifying. Were their eyes lit up?
Yeah.
Did you have dogs at the time?
I did, yes.
Oh, that's scary.
Did they poop like a dog where they stared at you?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh, I missed that.
Angry bus driver Jesus said they're one hell of an anti-theft system, though, having those big cats around.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah.
All right, some more nicknames for folks at work that don't do anything.
Go ahead.
Anesthesis has a coworker they affectionately refer to as Lava Lamp. She's pretty, but not very bright.
I'm gonna write that one down. I like that.
Wisco Maple Syrup, Jesus said. We worked with a guy called Kit Kat because he was always in a break.
Dude. I dig that.
Creative.
Here's something that we hope you really like. Now, it sounds fun to me. Definitely more fun than regular book learning and such. Says here you can now get a college degree in heavy metal. That is, if you choose to go to school at a college called Summa College in the Netherlands. One of the school's newest programs is called the Metal Factory. It's offering students a music degree with a focus specifically on heavy metal. According to their website, it teaches students things like how to master the art of growling. Okay, you can master the art of growling in their singing classes. And they'll also teach you how to play the guitar, the bass, the drum, the keyboard, all metal style. Well, see, now I'm not interested.
How come?
Learning a new instrument is very difficult. I thought if I was going to sign up to get a degree in heavy metal, I'd just be asked to, read stories about Van Halen and Black Sabbath and play Name That Tune with my super hot 22-year-old female lab partner.
Well, maybe
I got to sit down and learn how to play the keyboards and the guitar? That's impossible.
Maybe the music business degree would be more up your alley.
Music business degree?
You learn the business of music, go to be like a record guy or
I don't know.
A band manager.
But listen to this, Josh. It says here you will also learn, it kind of echoes what you're saying. You will also learn all there is to know about the business and technical aspects of the profession, how to cooperate and perform intensively with other students. They ruined it. They made heavy metal boring. Unfortunately, I think they did. They made heavy metal boring. And I know what some of you are saying. You're saying, well, Stained already did that.
You know, that's my mother-in-law's favorite group.
Oh,
Really?
God.
That's awesome.
Oh, my God.
Good for her.
She loves Stained. She's a rocker.
Oh, I think you've mentioned that before, yeah.
She's a rocker.
She is. Like, she was familiar with... My wife is not. And so when I first met my wife, she was not familiar with the radio station at all, outside of she knew that her mom listened to 93X.
I just like the way it sounded when you said, she's a rocker.
She really is.
Yeah.
You know, she likes the leaf, marijuana.
Sure.
Big fan.
Drugs.
Big fan.
It usually correlates.
Illegal drugs.
Well,
You
legal now,
you don't think that they kind of ruined this, Josh? I mean,
well, you know, I had figured they had to pretend it was school one way or another, right? They had to sneak in some school-like stuff.
but really, if I'm going to sit down and, oh, God, I'm learning the business, you know, how to book a band and figure out royalties and things like that, this is not, in my opinion, how a heavy metal degree should be played out.
This
Trying to
seems like-
figure out how to play the keyboards, for Christ's sake. How much time do you have?
This
You're going
might
to
have
teach me
been-
how to play the keyboards.
Might have been lucrative 30-some years ago. I mean, right now, I think that's probably not going to pay off for you.
You have to audition.
that's
You have to
true.
audition, Josh, to be accepted.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a nightmare.
A committee of 2 to 3 people will judge your musical performances. I guess you got to sit. If you know how to play an instrument, bring it with, and they'll judge if you're good enough.
I guess they kind of do that for other fine art programs, or at least what like the movies have told me and what little I've seen on the internet, right? With like dancing. You usually have to audition for their school. I'm thinking of like Juilliard. I'm pretty sure you got to put on a show to get accepted into there.
I'll believe it. I just was more assuming that we would just, sit around with a case of beer, watch the song remains the same a few times, and, quiz me on AC/DC records or something like that.
Sounds like you just want bar trivia.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Probably a lot cheaper, too.
That's all it should be. It's heavy metal. It shouldn't be taken so seriously.
Yeah, they did make it pretty nerdy.
But, this is the liquor talking.
This is a very crass joke from OG's Jesus, but finally I can take the heat off of my mother, who gets quote-unquote pounded by the brother and sister on a daily basis. He said that my mother-in-law loves Stained because she leaves one everywhere she sits. That's not true.
That's
What
messed up,
in
man.
the hell just happened?
That is a false statement, and
does
I'm
that even-
offended on her behalf.
How does that come in your mind so fast? Come on, man.
OG's Jesus is good for a funny, if not biting, text message every
Brutal.
morning.
Brutal. Cold-blooded. We got to take a break. Sports is next.
You're a dick.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
We more from, just our attitude, just kind of coming in at home. It just seems tough to find because you just on the road, it's always there, and here it's I don't know. Never been in a situation like that, right? We've always been a really good home team, so we gotta figure it out here soon because it's a place that we need to make it tough for opponents to play.
Good to see him in a game. I think it's game action, and I thought there were times where he had opportunities to make plays and made some plays. Other times it wasn't. But I think when you're off that long, sometimes it's timing and things like that. But I think it was good for him to get in, play, and we'll build from there.
Build from there, the coach says. I'll tell you what you built last night, a big stack of turds.
Yeah,
boy.
That was not good.
Huh?
Not good.
That was our guy Mark Foligno and the head coach of the Pigs.
John Hines?
No, that's not it. I can't think of his name. The wrestler. He looks just like the wrestler.
I'll defer to you and Wapple on that.
Remember Wapple? I said he looks just like that horrible-looking wrestler from back in the day. Not Heidenreich, but someone get back to me. I've used it on the air before. Yeah, the hockey club came to town and just shut the Pigs smooth out last night. That was Marky Foligno and I can't think of the wrestler. I hung the nickname on that, John Hines. You're right, his real name is John Hines. They got pumped. What can you do? Next up, there'll be the main event of Hockey Day tomorrow night. They play at home against Calgary. Lots going on this week. Gene Snitsky, that's it. The head coach of the Pigs looks just like Gene Snitsky. Thank you, trades worker Jesus. You got to be an old wrestling fan to follow along. Lots going on this weekend. We'll cover that when Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder join us. But first, Josh, before we go, because Josh's news report is coming up, you love this gimmick. Listeners texting in nicknames for their coworkers who do nothing. Nicknames for their coworkers who do nothing. Here's a listener says his boss's name is Derek, and we call him D&D, which stands for Derek. Stands for Do Nothing Derek. D&D, Do Nothing Derek. Josh, why do they call a guy G-Spot?
I don't know.
Because you can't find him. Why do they call a guy Motion Light?
Only works when someone walks by.
That's right. He only works when someone's around. Oh, my God.
Wait.
I don't remember this. Is this correct? Back in the day, Gene Snitsky punted Lita's baby?
Jeez.
I don't remember that one.
The WWE used to push the envelope a little bit,
Sure
actually.
did.
Did he punt Lita's baby? I'll have to go back.
Yeah.
I need to see that
Why
video.
would you do that? Why would you?
November 8th, 2004.
That's terrible.
How far did it go?
Hasn't landed yet.
Yeah, was there a fair catch called?
Yeah, it's still on the way.
Did Edge create that baby with Lita?
Oh, in the middle of the ring that time? That was hot
Yeah, I
stuff.
remember, but was that... we'll be right back. Josh's news is next.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Dana here for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. We all know January is one of the coldest months of the year, and not that cheery, fun kind of Christmas cold. Nah, just the dark, dank January cold. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is well aware of this, and that's why they're offering $40 off a furnace tune-up to keep you warm during the Minnesota cold. The last thing you want is to be huddled around an iffy space heater you bought from some shady targeted ad. Oh, and how about this? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning has now been helping Minnesotans for over 95 years. So book your appointment now at standardheating.com. That's standardheating.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen here. Join me and my compadre, Chris Brockman, every Monday on the Overreaction Monday podcast as we dive into the latest headlines across the NFL playoffs.
Well, Rich, okay, you were late to this party.
Obviously, it would be surprising, but not shocking. And that's the thing I loved about watching a lot of these games, man. Come react or overreact with us leading up to the big game.
Overreaction Monday. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
It's game over.
Over, man. Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
It's really scary. I'm not aware of anything like this ever happening, and I hope they catch him.
Two homeowners were terrified when a mysterious person appeared outside their door holding a sign with a Bible verse about the apocalypse while wearing a satanic mask. You can see this scary video on 93x.com. Freaky and deaky.
I don't need that kind of aggravation. Just hanging out at home, someone shows up on your property talking Bibles and Satan and whatnot.
The residents captured doorbell footage of the uninvited visitor outside their Texas home about 8 p.m. Saturday. The unsettling video shows the figure dressed in black, wearing a red mask with horns and holding what looks like a cardboard sign with a passage from Revelations. Nope. The Bible passage describes the apocalypse, where believers ascend to heaven and non-believers are cast into the lake of fire. When no one answered the door, the masked individual walked to the back of the house, standing on the driveway with the sign. Doorbell footage shows the person ringing the bell, waiting briefly, and then knocking. The homeowner said she and her husband were out for dinner when the incident occurred.
Person popped up on the video with that goat's mask on, and they were approaching my door.
Police said the masked individual hadn't been seen on other properties in the area and didn't commit a crime. They're keeping an eye on the neighborhood, though, as a precaution.
They didn't. They did not commit a crime.
No, just they rang the doorbell and standed there creepily.
You can never go back to that house. It's time to start a new life somewhere.
I would not be sleeping well. That's absolutely terrifying.
Hopefully it's just like a kid playing a prank or something. But, yeah, that was pretty scary seeing that. Police, that's one of those where if it was one of your neighbors, you'd be like, oh, man, I'm so glad that's not me. Terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
A police officer was hit by a fire truck in Connecticut Wednesday afternoon, being driven by what I had imagined was a ghost. Officers arrived at home about 1 p.m. for a welfare check. As a resident spoke to police through a closed door, they noticed the house was in disarray and saw smoke coming from the oven. Once inside, they discovered a hoarding situation, and the resident was taken to the hospital to be evaluated for smoke inhalation and other injuries. While they were at the scene, a parked, unoccupied fire truck slid several feet on the snow-covered driveway and hit a police officer walking by.
God help us all.
The officer was treated at a hospital for minor injuries and released after being hit by the fire truck.
Fire truck!
The hoarder home didn't fare as well, though. It was condemned.
That's going to make the cops versus firemen charity softball game a little bit uncomfortable this summer, don't you think, Josh?
Yeah, more stakes, that's for sure. A little more motivation. Neighborhood watchdogs in Rochester might soon lose one of their favorite pastimes as the police scanners are going silent. Local law enforcement is moving to encrypted radio communications, cutting off public access to real-time updates. The Rochester Police Department and the Olmsted County Sheriff's Office announced this week they'll move to private channels later this month, cutting off public access. Officials say the shift is necessary to protect sensitive information and ensure officer safety. We had suspects commit serious crimes and then listen to scanners to figure out who we're looking for and where we were, a police spokesperson explained. That compromises our ability to respond effectively. Additionally, the change aims to safeguard victims' private medical and personal information, which can sometimes be overheard on open channels. Rochester isn't alone on making the move. Major cities like Denver and New York have already encrypted their police communications. Closer to home, Hennepin County adopted encryption in 2019, and Minneapolis is considering the transition this year as well.
I listened to one of those police scanners one time when some stuff was going down in Maplewood. It was super exciting, actually, to listen. There was somebody that was at a standoff with police, so they had 50 cop cars. It was very intense, but they do, whenever something, I guess, top secret comes up, they're like, hey, switch to this secure channel. I'm like, gosh darn it, I want to hear what you guys are talking about.
I always forget that's a thing, but it is kind of fun to listen in. You're right.
I'm into swatting.
Yeah, you swatted me several times.
Yeah.
That's so you, dude.
I've gotten into it, swatting.
A dispute over cold French fries at a Wendy's in Kentucky escalated into gunfire between a 25-year-old male patron and a 26-year-old female employee who was shot in the butt. Mm-hmm. Police say Monja James Wooten and two associates got into a verbal altercation at the drive-thru with Twanisha Coleman, a Wendy's worker, over cold fries. James Wooten and his companions entered the restaurant where he pulled a firearm and fired a shot, but he quickly learned he wasn't the only one armed, as the Wendy's worker pulled her gun and fired back.
That's awesome.
Tough neighborhood. That is a tough neighborhood. Then the fight was on. A fusillade of bullets flew until the firefight ended with Coleman, the Wendy's employee, taking a pounding in the keister by James Wooten's hot projectile. Charged with felony assault, James Wooten turned himself in last Friday. Coleman is facing some legal trouble as well. At the time of the shooting, she was on probation for felony theft and gun charges and was prohibited from possessing a firearm.
Yeah, you usually can't bring that in work either. I've worked at a couple places where you leave late at night or whatever, so I always wanted to have something on me like pepper spray, and they're like, nope, can't bring that in here.
I just imagine them getting ready for work. Got my hat, got my apron, there's my gun. All right.
You ever, Josh, try to choke down a bowl of chili and a Frosty while a gunfight cut loose on you?
Never once.
I bet you could get through it.
Yeah. I've seen a couple wild scenes at fast food restaurants. But
I could picture you tucking the chili and the Frosty under your arm like a football and running out of the building where you could finish the meal safely in the parking lot.
Yeah. I'd sit in my car and just kind of watch the action. Call Ashley and ask how to check the police scanner.
You get dinner and a show. What a deal.
A Pennsylvania man's facing charges after shooting an Instacart delivery driver he mistakenly believed was a home intruder. You gotta have communication. This incident unfolded about 7:30 p.m. Saturday when authorities received a call about a man who'd been shot in the leg. Investigators later discovered a woman placed a grocery order through Instacart, but forgot to tell her husband, 43-year-old Nicholas the Snake Sabo, that a delivery was on the way. When the driver arrived, Sabo's wife noticed movement near the garage through the home security system and assumed someone was attempting to break into the utility trailer on the property, so she forgot, I guess.
Idiot.
Acting on her concern, Sabo grabbed a firearm, stepped outside, and without any verbal warning, shot the delivery driver in the leg.
Ugh.
That injured driver managed to return to his vehicle where his wife and kid were waiting, and then drove down the street before calling 911. He was rushed to the hospital, underwent surgery, and is now stable and recovering, thankfully.
Was that the night that the dude said, okay, you want to watch Daddy work?
Yeah.
He brings his wife and kid with. You want to hang out with Dad while he works? And that's the night he gets shot in the friggin' leg.
Dad's losing a lot of blood here.
You weren't kidding, Dad. You work hard, man. This sucks.
Sabo's been arrested and charged with recklessly endangering another person, and authorities have indicated additional charges are likely.
I wonder if they ever got their groceries.
Yeah, I'm sure he just dropped them and ran. Unfortunately, incidents like this one are not isolated. Across the country, similar cases have ended in tragedy or near tragedy. In May, a Tennessee man was charged with attempted second-degree murder after shooting a Domino's pizza driver who mistakenly arrived at the wrong address. Just a month earlier, an Ohio homeowner was charged with murder in a heartbreaking case involving a scam and an unwitting Uber driver. In that case, 81-year-old William Brock fatally shot 61-year-old Lolitha Hall. She'd been unknowingly sent to the home by a scammer posing as a relative in need of bail money. Brock, believing Hall was part of that scam, opened fire.
So much drama, Cubby.
A 55-year-old California man convicted last year of assaulting 2 Costco employees, including one stationed at a free sample stand, is now appealing his conviction despite clear surveillance footage capturing the incidents. One of the victims told police Timothy McLavin, someone she recognized from a prior encounter a week or two earlier, stopped at her booth and stared at her as she explained the samples she was handing out.
Here we go.
While she turned to assist another customer, McLavin circled the booth and stood uncomfortably close to her. "What do you think of me?" he reportedly asked.
What kind of question is that?
Trying to remain polite and diffuse the situation, she replied, "You're okay." But instead of moving on, McLavin took the moment to grab her genitals through her clothing.
Oh, my gosh.
Not the kind of free samples she was offering. Still horny, McLavin approached another female employee, this time making a lewd comment. "That ain't no keys in my pocket," he said. He followed up by attempting to pull down his shorts, but the employee quickly shouted at him to back off, which is enough for him to run fleeing, sort of, because when police arrived, he was waiting in the checkout lane. He refused to speak, staring blankly at officers. When they tried to escort the dick out of the store, the dick went limp, forcing officers to drag the dick out.
Oh, my gosh.
Despite his conviction in the Costco case, McLavin wasted no time filing an appeal. The basis of his appeal remains unclear, however. But one thing's certain for the Costco creeper, he's insane.
Yeah.
I've seen people try to pull that limp man on like cops episodes, and they are not a fan of that. They get very mad when people do that.
Yeah, it's got to be annoying. They just completely just give up. I'm a dead body now.
Yep.
I'm a dead body.
Someone keep an eye on that sumbitch you just told us about. Woo-wee.
Even in Key West, Florida, where some unseemly behavior is tolerated, you're going to get arrested for having sex at 4:20 a.m. on the sidewalk next to the main road through town. Early Monday morning, cops driving on a 2-lane stretch of U.S. Route 1 spotted a 38-year-old woman bent over in front of a 41-year-old man, thrusting his hips back and forth right in front of a pet grooming business, perhaps misunderstanding what doggy-style services were offered there.
Just go get it, son.
The two continued intercourse until I activated my emergency lights, reported the responding officer. Caught in the act, the gentleman reportedly put his pee-pee back in his pants, while the accommodating lady pulled down her dress, leaving the officer to document the scene of a love story gone terribly public. The woman was described as disheveled, with her bodysuit undone, likely not uncommon probably after a night out in Key West. Both were arrested for committing lascivious acts in a public place.
Just can't have fun anymore, can you?
A little too much fun, though.
A friend of mine went to Key West for Halloween a few years ago, and he said, "You won't believe your eyes." He said, women just walk down the street, more or less completely naked on Halloween in Key West.
Well, that's the story kind of went on, saying Key West, it's usually go ahead, do whatever you want, but they do have limits. And
I didn't know they had that reputation.
Having sex in public is one of those.
He got slapped in the face by his wife no less than a dozen times that week. He said he'd never seen anything like it in his life. Better than any strip joint he's ever been to.
A couple new movies premiere in theaters this weekend, including Flight Risk, an action thriller starring Mark Wahlberg as a pilot tasked with transporting a dangerous criminal to trial. But as they cross the Alaskan wilderness, tensions rise as not everyone is who they appear to be. Also in theaters this week, Presence, directed by Steven Soderbergh. This eerie haunted house drama stars Lucy Liu and delves into unsettling family dynamics within a suburban home where they become convinced they're not alone. Streaming on Paramount Plus, Michelle Yeoh reprises her role in the first ever Star Trek streaming movie, Star Trek Section 31. Delving into the covert operations of Starfleet's secretive division, where she's tasked with protecting the United Federation of Planets while facing the sins of her past. Tomorrow on Netflix, the streaming premiere of Saturday Night, which is the true story about what happened behind the scenes in the 90 minutes leading up to the very first broadcast of Saturday Night Live in October of 1975. Premiering on CBS, Watson. The series, described as a medical drama with detective elements, is centered around the character of Dr. John Watson from Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes series. Morris Chestnut takes on the role of Watson as he leads a clinic for rare disorders set 6 months after Sherlock Holmes' death. Watson is the second CBS series to adapt the Holmes stories after Elementary. The creative teams behind the shows overlap, but the two programs are otherwise unrelated. Congratulations to humongous chick magnet Jesus' sister, Sylvia, who recently got married again.
Sylvia?
Sylvia.
You don't hear that one very often.
And if you're listening, Robert, humongous chick magnet Jesus recommends you run. Please run, he said. Shout out to Senior Airman Sabatino, returning home today after being stationed in Germany for 4 years. From your very proud father, knows everything about nothing, Jesus. And happy 19th birthday to Lexi from Dad Bo, who's turning 37 today. And that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver, the cornhole capital of the world.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
One writer that I wasn't able to get a vote from. I would like to invite him over to my house, and we'll have a drink together, and we'll have a good chat.
Does Ichiro smoke filterless cigarettes now in his retirement? What the hell was that?
That's his translator.
Oh, yeah. For Christ's sake.
Yeah, that's not him.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, that man has changed since he
no.
stopped playing baseball.
Not him.
That was hi, Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to today's program. Yeah, you heard Ichiro Suzuki right there going into the Hall of Fame along with, Don't Tell Me. We talked about it a couple days ago. Billy Wagner.
Yep, CC.
I said, don't tell me, and then he...
I hate waiting for you.
Richie Allen.
He's got places to be, man.
And the Cobra, Dave Parker. There was one...
Richie Allen.
Yeah, I said Richie Allen. Let's start this over again. Gentlemen.
Good morning.
Thanks, Brad. Together,
Thank
Nick.
you, Brad. I have it together. You keep... There was one writer that did not vote for Ichiro.
Amazing.
But wait a minute now. Someone at the, I went over to a little house party last night. Someone threw this theory into the mix because we talked about one swinging D chooses not to vote for an obvious Hall of Famer in Ichiro Suzuki. And the theory was that maybe that writer was trying to help an old-timer get in, right? Everyone knows Ichiro's getting in. Why not use my vote, well, the writer might have been thinking, to dump on an old-timer to help that guy get there maybe a little sooner?
Well, there's a hole in that theory because you can vote for as many people as you want.
Oh, is that right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I did not know that. I wish you would have been there last night, Brad Ryder.
The ballot is very much open, so you can vote. Brad is exactly right, so...
Well, then, take that theory.
It's not like you have one vote
and only one vote.
Greg, Doug, Big Al, take your theory, shove it up your ass, Brad and Randy say. He says, for that one sports writer, Suzuki wants to buy him a drink and talk it out. They want to pray about it. So then why wouldn't the guy vote for Ichiro? If that theory doesn't exist, then why would you not? Just to be a dick? It could be a...
could be.
I don't know. I read a story yesterday. There's other obvious examples of other people who didn't get unanimous votes either, like Willie Mays didn't get unanimously voted in, and Babe Ruth didn't get unanimously voted in, and the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, Mariano Rivera's the only one with 100%.
Rivera.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, he got a hondo out of the deal. Sorry, I was a little rushed as we started. I'm trying to get myself organized still as we speak. I apologize. Randy Shaver, still in Florida.
Yes, sir.
You ever go to Key West?
I have not been there.
No? We were talking a little about Key West in Josh's news report. Lawless, they say. A buddy of mine went down there for Halloween, said naked women just walking all over the sidewalk, just like not like it was no thing, but a chicken wing on a string from Burger King. Naked women.
It's a good thing I didn't say what I was going to say before you said that.
Well, what were you going to say before I said
I've always wanted to go to the Keys.
Is it because you heard my buddy's story about Halloween down there?
No, I watched the Netflix show a few years back, Bloodline.
Never heard of it.
Oh, sure.
Yep.
I watched it.
It's a great show, and it kind of makes you want to go down there.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom's always talked about how she wants to go there. I wonder if she knows about this.
I recommend.
She knows about it.
Yeah.
Tell her to crap it off the pot.
Tell her about Halloween. Tell her all about Halloween.
She does go down to Florida at least once a year.
Why does it have to be Halloween for that to happen?
A listener texted and said Halloween down there in Key West, they call it Fantasy Fest. And it's just a big swingers sex party.
Oh, boy.
So my pal goes down there with his wife. I don't think at the time they were aware of Fantasy Fest and all the nudity that's just allowed on the sidewalk. And it was just, he got slapped in the face over and over again all weekend long because he couldn't help it. He's walking with his wife down the sidewalk and he says, well, what the hell's going on here? And she kept cracking him in his face.
Wow, I'm looking at pictures. That Fantasy Fest seems insane.
They're naked, aren't they?
There is a Children's Day, though, so that's probably a good day.
It's 9 months after Fantasy Fest.
Yeah.
There's a Children's Day.
There's one clean day.
God dang. Yeah, Randy's still down in Florida. The weather improved down there for you?
A little bit today. At least the sun is out. By Monday, it'll be in the low 70s the rest of the way.
All right.
So.
And you got some time yet down there. You're hanging out for a while.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when I went to, what's the name of that friggin' island I went to? I think it was called the Bahamas. Does that sound familiar to anybody?
I've heard of the Bahamas, yeah.
I think that was it. We left.
Rikers?
Pardon me?
Was it Rikers Island?
God help us if I ever visited. I wouldn't be sitting here right now, and you know that very well if I ever visited Rikers Island. Fantasy Island, I can't think. It was some tropical joint. We left out of Florida, if that helps you at all. We were on a ship. We took a ship.
Sure.
Is the Bahamas in that neighborhood?
It's in the neighborhood.
Okay, well, that had to have been it. It's a long time ago. And, of course, you know, you have visions of just beautiful beaches.
Yes.
And when we got there, it was the coldest day the Bahamas had ever seen.
Aw, you brought the cold with you.
We did. So we went into a bar, sadly, and watched a Vikings playoff game.
Oh,
in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
That's not what you picture.
No. Back to Ichiro real quick. Does anyone care about this? Our own Alex Rodriguez here, living now in town, you know, whatever he does for the Timberwolves, I forget. But our own A-Rod here in town has confirmed, if this matters to anybody, that back in the year 2017, Alex Rodriguez and Ichiro Suzuki were hanging out together doing something, and Alex Rodriguez got a phone call or a text message from Tom Brady, and Ichiro Suzuki said, quote, "Who the F is Tom Brady?"
That's pretty funny.
So I guess, I don't know, if you're a 100% baseball guy, like Ichiro? You don't give two pumps who Tom Brady is, Sid Crosby, give me a Steph Curry. You just don't dial in.
Speaking of A-Rod, have we even heard what's going on with the owners' fight for the Timberwolves?
Just about to ask.
Haven't paid any attention to it at all.
It's been pretty conspicuously silent, hasn't it?
There hasn't really been any articles on it.
Well, I thought it went to mediation. I thought they met for mediation with Taylor, and then I never heard anything after that.
Well, there was all that smoke originally about how they actually did have the money and all this, and you haven't heard anything from either one of those guys at all.
I mean, it doesn't take away the fact that they're a minority owner, correct?
They still are.
They're still part of the organization, but
Yep.
that fight for the majority ownership is just gone dead silent.
I got to say, I haven't seen any articles, and even if they were out there, I probably wouldn't read them. I mean, just really wake me when it's over.
Well, I think you'd read it once there's a final decision.
Oh, then sure.
Yeah.
Wake me when it's over. People are claiming that I visited F-Boy Island.
That's what it was.
No,
You've
that's
always
your
wanted
dream.
to go.
That's where I want to live.
Well, you've said you want to be an F.
I want to be an F-boy, and at one point or another, you folks were trying to explain to me what it takes to be an F-boy. I don't remember the details. Can you explain to me again what it means to be an F-boy? And then, if I qualify, how do I get myself to F-boy Island?
I'm not the guy for that. I know it's a television show. Was it Nikki Glazer
Yes.
that hosted it?
So
An F-boy is a guy who doesn't respect women. He relies on them heavily, though. He's
In what way?
distant,
Like financially?
Sexually.
Oh.
Emotionally.
I never want to be the kind of guy that relies on a woman sexually.
You don't care about other people's time. You don't commit to a woman. You just kind of like to be a little slut about it.
That's a description there.
Yeah, you're self-absorbed.
There was maybe 15, 20 years of your life you would have qualified for that.
I think we had this conversation already, but I think I may have been the original F-boy after hearing that description.
I guess one sentence would be emotionally unavailable and self-serving when it comes to women.
Well, then I was the original F-boy. I'm the godfather of all F-boys.
A lot of guys go through an F-boy stage.
And now, do you know how I get on the island?
I'm not sure, but
Is there an old man with a beard who has a boat that will take me to F-boy Island?
A little tugboat.
I will say there's an F-boy Island Australia version too.
Give me the website. I'm going to send an application out.
I'm gonna figure. I think you got to make a video.
I mean, is it just stocked with women, these islands, or what's the appeal for an F-boy?
Oh, just absolute babes. Yes.
That's interesting.
I'm not sure what the end goal is. Though.
Yeah, I was going to say, are they trying to find love on F-boy Island, or are they just looking to F?
Well, that would fly in the face of being one.
Oh, yeah. All right. So there's three women. There's three women that are on a quest to find love as they attempt to uncover who are the nice guys and who are the F-boys.
Oh, so it's F-boys kind of going undercover, trying to pretend like they're nice guys.
Yeah.
Dana, you were an F-boy at St. Cloud State, but that was your grades.
That was my GPA.
Back to Florida here. I got a text message from Offended Millennial Jesus talking about Florida. He says he went to Florida once on a southern tour, and a little redhead leaped out of a cabana. What movie? Slapshot.
I think that's 4 days in a row.
4 in a row.
Not all on me. That was Offended Millennial Jesus. Of course, I'm never going to turn one down, of course. But back to baseball real quick, because I know we got plenty of things to cover. Lots going on this weekend. Back to baseball.
Think about this, too, by the way. 3 weeks away from pitchers and catchers reporting.
Well, for Christ's sake.
Oh, my gosh. That's insane.
Yeah,
Isn't that amazing?
Twins Fest. Twins Fest.
Wow.
There's already a line.
Is there really?
Yeah.
But didn't
A
someone...
very short line, but there is one.
Yeah, didn't someone say here, we were talking about Twins Fest, didn't someone say it doesn't quite, at least someone's opinion around here is it doesn't quite have the same pop that it used to for some reason?
Well, I don't think it has the same pop as it did when I was at the Metrodome, just because they could do so much more in that bigger space than they can at Target Field. I think they're a little limited to what they can do there.
Yeah, because you can't be outside. You can't be on the field. So.
Right.
I still love the Twins, and I love that they host Twins Fest. I'm a little too old and lazy to get out there these days. I used to go every now and again.
Last year's the first year I hadn't gone in a long time, but it's true. It was better at the Dome.
It's only 2 days now, too, as opposed to 3 back at the Dome.
That's how I got an autographed Max Kepler trading card.
Who's he playing for now?
The Philadelphia Phillies left fielder.
Phillies legend.
Are you going to get MLB Network or whatever so you can watch the Strudel play for the Philadelphia Phillies?
I've already got a way in.
Yeah?
I'm actually going tomorrow to Twins Fest. I'm taking my dad. So.
Oh, cool.
Fun, good.
Taking the old man, huh?
Yeah.
Did you go get a face paint and an ice cream cone?
Maybe have a catch?
Maybe my dad will buy me an ice cream cone.
That's what I was going to ask.
Nice.
Do they open up all the concessions and stuff? I can't.
They have quite a few of them open. Yeah.
How old's Mr. Ryder?
He's 83. Doesn't he's a little bit slower getting around, but he watches or listens to all the Twins games. So
all the elderly people do, don't they?
That was one. That was actually our Christmas gift to him from our family. We're taking him to. There's a special section tomorrow, like kind of a VIP section that you have to buy, and I did purchase it. I didn't get it for free. Where he's going to get a chance to meet all the Hall of Famers.
That's really awesome. That's so cool.
That's awesome.
So he's going to get a chance to meet Burt Blyleven and Rod Carew and Tony Oliva and Joe Mauer.
Dang, dude, if my dad's listening right now, he's like, my kids suck.
So, Brad, you were able to buy that package?
Yeah.
Wow. 83, huh? Does he have to? You going to push him around in a wheelchair? Or something?
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. I mean, he has a walker, but I think for tomorrow we're going to put him in a wheelchair.
Good for him.
A little bit easier.
Good for him that he's not too proud.
Well,
for that.
He is a little bit, but he's going to do it anyway.
Right. I mean, don't get me. I know all about it. Before my old man checked out, he still wanted to go to Twins games and things like that. And I'd say, I'd love to take you to a Twins game, but you can't handle that. Your legs can't handle that.
Right.
Let's put you in a wheelchair. Oh, hell no. Well, come on. I mean, Josh, if you asked me for the rest of our career here, if you could push me around in a wheelchair, I'd say yes.
Didn't you get one of those scooters at the fair once, Nick? That you cruised around in?
No. It wasn't at the fair.
Okay.
It was at, I got gout so bad that I scootered my way around Lowe's. and it was maybe the most glorious 20 minutes of my life. I have friends who have scootered around the fair. Maybe that's what you're thinking.
Okay.
But I had gout so bad I couldn't walk for dick, and I finally just gave up and said, look, I felt weird doing it as a 39, 40-year-old man, whatever I was at the time, but I needed it, and it was fabulous.
Why'd your friends do it at the fair? They have
laziness.
Oh, it's lazy.
Yeah, they just did it from smooth laziness.
Yeah, that's kind of clutch. People get out of your way, and then you got a basket to put all your stuff in. It's kind of the move.
It's going to be a little bit of a mess downtown tomorrow because the Wolves game starts at 2.
Right.
Yep.
So
I'm really excited for you and the old man.
Yeah, want to hear all about it.
So, Brad, can I ask what comes with the package? Just a meet and greet, or do you get a signed autograph? What comes with that?
You bring your own item for them to sign. So I've got a brand new Major League Baseball ready for him, and when he goes in there, he'll get all 5 of them signed. I'm sure get a chance to talk to each one of them for a few minutes, and I know those guys, so it'll be easier to make the introductions, obviously. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Nick, I know you don't like to travel. I don't like to travel.
No.
So I was trying to think, what Minnesota city could really be like a Midwestern F-boy island?
What Minnesota city?
Yeah, where they're stocked with ladies.
Mankato.
Clara
St. Cloud.
Yes, Clara City.
See, I'm thinking about this seriously now. We could just joke around all day and name each other's hometowns. Sure.
Delano.
Stocked with ladies.
Yeah, just where an F-boy would do real
Maple
well.
Plain.
University of Minnesota.
Maple Grove, whatever town that
the
is,
campus we're sitting on right now, this is F-Boy Island.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
There was a picture going around not too long ago of these 4 dudes that were walking to campus, and it's just the back of their head, but they're all wearing the same exact outfit, the typical khakis, the little boat shoes, and same jackets.
The khakis are cinched at the ankle.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Terrible look. The young guys look terrible these days. It's just terrible.
They all dress the same.
Do they all have mustaches?
Why are you? They all look the same.
Yes, they do. The stupid mustaches, the undersized sweatpants that cinch at the ankle. It's just the worst.
Joggers.
Yeah, is that what they call it? It's awful.
Those are comfortable. I got a couple pair of those.
They're cinched at the ankles?
Brad, no.
They're not, no, they're. Are we talking about the same type of pants?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And if we were, you can wear whatever you want. You're over the age of 40. You're good.
Yeah, she's already given up on you, Brad.
You do.
Who
You
am I
do what
trying?
you want,
Who am I
Brad.
trying to impress
no
anymore?
chance anyway, Brad.
You got a wife. You got kids. You're good.
I
Dude.
got right.
You
yeah.
did it.
You're just basically wallpaper. Nobody's paying any attention.
As simple as the answer is, Josh, I think F-Boy Island's right here where we sit currently, University of Minnesota.
I don't drive through the campus side anymore, but I do remember all day or night it was kind of crazy around here for sure.
I've bumped into the curb once or twice, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Josh, I'd recommend going through campus again every now and again.
Wait till April, though.
What's happening in April?
Well, it's just warmer outside. There's more people outside.
Well, no, that's when I've bumped into the curb, Brad Ryder,
Oh,
is,
okay.
yes, during the warmer months, of course. All right, Sunday. The National Football Conference and American Football Conference are scheduled to play their championship games. AFC goes first, friggin' Buffalo versus friggin' Kansas City. And then the NFC follows, friggin' Philadelphia versus wonderful Washington. Are we happy
I think you got
when
that backwards.
Yeah, I
Commanders and Eagles are at 2, Bills and Chiefs are at 5:30.
I figured they wouldn't waste an opportunity to have the Chiefs on primetime.
Yeah.
All right, so I forgot then what the correct order is, and I guess just turn the television on Sunday. Are we happy when we come in here on Monday, or are we miserable, or a little of both? What do you think?
God. Well, I mean, I guess I'm going to be hopeful and say that I'm happy. Buffalo, Washington. That would make me happy. I don't think it's...
You and everyone else on planet Earth.
I don't think it's realistic, but that's what would make me happy. Yes.
I hope we're happy.
I'm going to do a Nick Bourne and say it's definitely going to happen. And then, of course, it won't.
Are you referring to my Super Bowl prediction?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, again, I have no shame in it. I'll say it again. I held up my end of the bargain. The Vikings failed. So I hope that we have good vibes when we come back to work on Monday.
How miserable will it be?
Right.
If they both win?
Right.
It'll
be terrible.
It'll be terrible.
And I won't watch the ball game.
No, me neither. I've skipped Super Bowls before.
Dana, yours definitely makes sense. Your heart would be broken.
CBS Sports.
Does that do anything for you, Nick?
What's that?
On Monday, Dana's heart will be broken.
Oh, that helps.
A bit of a salve, is
and
it?
I appreciate you bringing it up. As miserable, awful as it will be, or would be, if the Chiefs win on Sunday, it'll take a little bit of the sting away knowing that Dana's fake favorite football team is not going to be playing in the Super Bowl.
You already got to revel in my misery once this week when I was stuck on the side of the road on the coldest day of the year.
It's been a good week for me, Dana.
Well,
can you say that's enough?
I'm a lucky guy.
Dana, you got to realize that's this week. We're talking next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got to get him through next week.
It should be enough, shouldn't it, Dana? But it's not. It'll be so awful if it's Kansas City, Philadelphia.
Oh, God. You know what's going to happen, too. It just sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be upset, aren't we? Well, let me ask you this now. Maybe some locals here in town might be rooting for Buffalo to make the Super Bowl and then lose. So then Buffalo can be the ultimate sad-ass losers instead of the Vikings and Bills being in a tie for that title.
That is part of this, yes.
Maybe a lot.
I mean, that's kind of an evil plan, but that's part of it. Yeah.
Well, we're the only ones who care about that. Nobody else cares about that.
Nobody does. Yeah, you're right.
About what exactly? What do you mean?
About losing 5 Super
Losing the
Bowls.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
No one cares about that?
Outside of
Only we
Minnesota,
do.
I'm saying.
Well, I think they care about it, that so they can bust the balls of that fan base.
In Buffalo, they care, obviously, but
You don't think Packer fans, if the Vikings were in this situation, you don't think Packer fans would want the Vikings to get to the Super Bowl and then lose so they could give us
No, I'm
just
saying
that
I
little...
don't think people care if the Bills lose to set the record or whatever. I don't think that people care about that.
Well, I understand. I'm saying I think some fan bases do care, so then they can just pile the misery on. Yeah.
Well, we already got ripped on by a 715er saying, hey, guys, what about Purple Pick'em? Oh, wait. 14 wins for what?
Yeah, exactly.
Why aren't you doing purple pick'em today, guys?
See what I'm saying? So there are people who care.
Yeah, quite a bit.
God,
Yeah,
isn't
you
that
know.
the truth?
You know, too bad the Lions.
God, the Lions just crap.
I mean, again, but the good thing is, of course, the Commodores came out of that ball game. You know, I wish that.
I would rather have Philly going to Detroit this weekend than
That'd be
Washington going to Philly.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, the Commodores, that's my ultimate dream. Have them win the whole friggin' schmear. That would be fun. See, because
that would turn the tables in the NFL.
Oh, huge.
If Washington did that. Even if Washington makes the Super Bowl, that will perk up some people in the NFL.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, see, I don't have this soft spot for the Buffalo Bills like a lot of people do. They had 4 tries. They blew it. You see what I'm saying? Same with the Vikings. They had their chance. They friggin' blew it.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why I wasn't touching myself a number of years ago, because the Chicago Cubs finally had a chance to win a World Series. They played in 7 World Series already and lost every one of them. So I didn't have any sympathy for the Cubs either. So the Lions, never been there. Browns, never been there. Those are the teams America should be rooting for.
Yep.
I think they would be if they were in right now.
Every time I want to like Buffalo or feel sorry for Buffalo, or it's a small market and all that, I remember that they're in New York.
Yeah, it's too close to the evil.
Right.
That's a good point, Brad.
Too close to the evil.
You do kind of forget that for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm. Listen to this. 2 men and a woman have been arrested for selling $200,000 worth of fake Jason Kelce memorabilia. Who's looking to buy any of that in the first place?
Oh, people are obsessed with him.
Yeah. He's all over the place.
Jason Kelce memorabilia. I can't imagine making a telephone call to my local sporting gear shop and saying, hey, do you guys have any good autographed Jason Kelce memorabilia?
Yeah, good point, yeah.
What? He was a center. Who cares?
He'll end up in the Hall of Fame, though.
Well, I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
But I just can't imagine being drawn to that Jason Kelce memorabilia.
Well, he's everywhere, too. I mean, he's out there so much in the public eye that I can see why there'd be some interest in him.
Everyone thinks he's like, cute and adorable.
And Phillies fans are spending $50 on a jar of melted water. Of course they're going to want Super Bowl winning Jason Kelce memorabilia.
He's got a late night talk show. I don't know if it'll last or not. But
this will make
he has a late night talk show.
Yeah.
This is just the worst era that we've ever had to live in.
So this will make you feel better, you guys. As part of Twins Fest, they had a silent online auction that closed last night. It was part of their Diamond Awards. I don't know, Randy, if you got a chance to look at the stuff.
I did not. No.
But I was bidding on a couple things. I lost out. But at the end, you can go in and see what the winning bids were for everything. And a seat at the old Met Stadium actually got a higher bid than a signed Taylor Swift poster or signed Taylor Swift picture.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, Nick, you'll also be jealous. Speaking of Diamond Awards, my friend was there last night, and she got to dance with Goldie the Gopher.
Well, that does hurt me a little bit.
I figured. She sent me a picture, and she's like, I got to dance with Goldie.
I love Goldie. Josh and I have met him a few times, so, I mean, remember that time we hung out with him at the mall at America?
Yep.
He came in here, too.
Was
for
that
your
when we were
birthday
ringing
once?
the bells for the
Yeah,
Salvation Army?
we were ringing the bells.
Mm-hmm.
The Met Stadium seat went for $500, and the Taylor Swift signed picture, only went for $400.
That's really surprising that it only went for that much.
We have a Metrodome seat.
Yeah, but the
old Met Stadium seat.
Who's we?
My family.
Oh,
Yeah, I got
throw,
one too.
Throw it in the garbage.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love it.
We like it.
Throw it in the garbage.
Throw it in the trash.
There's scum on the bottom of it. Got to chisel that off one of these
Is there
days.
some chewing gum down there?
Oh, my gosh. You had
still
to
fresh.
take that off. Yeah.
Kind of like when you open up a pack of baseball cards from the 80s, and they still got that stick of gum in there.
Oh, I love that gum. Oh.
Yeah, I do too.
That gum was good for about 2.5 seconds.
Yep.
And you break your
Man,
teeth on it sometimes.
That
Every
2.5 seconds was amazing.
All right, we're going to use that.
Yeah, we are. Thanks, Randy.
Oh, my God.
Here's your interesting NFL fact.
That's it. I'm done for the rest of the show.
Hey, you nailed it.
Yeah, you contributed greatly.
It's kind of supposed to be my friend.
It came out before I had a chance to think about it.
Use that too.
Now you said.
Son of a gun.
You'll put them back to back.
Oh, yeah. Good job, Brad.
You said earlier that making a prediction, making a silly prediction was pulling a Nick Bourne.
Yes.
Being caught saying something seemingly innocent and having it spun into something filthy, that's pulling an Ashley.
Yeah, Ashley does that constantly.
She does that to herself constantly. She's just trying to contribute to the program, and it all comes crashing down
It's
around her.
It's unfair, really.
She'll say something like, and then I put all of it in my mouth, and then...
It's really hard living.
Ashley.
It's really hard living with a fiance because he catches everything. He catches every single thing I do like that.
Yeah,
I'm like, come on, man, just give me a break.
Yeah, sometimes it's relentless. You'll be like, oh, I went to the grocery store, spent my whole paycheck there, really stretched me out, and then somebody's gonna call and go, okay, we gotta take that.
The thing is, you can't pounce on it every time.
I agree.
You just can't.
Let it sit.
You have to let some of them slide. If you pounce on it every time, you're just being an obnoxious prick.
Well, maybe we'll give each other a sideways glance, just an acknowledgement
right.
that, you know that too.
You have to pick and choose. If you pounce on it every time, that's your problem.
I agree.
There's an art to this, Randy.
I got it. I got you.
Here's your interesting NFL fact for the day. By the year 2014, there were over 400 players in the NFL who weighed over 300 pounds. Maybe one of them was Jason Kelce. Have you seen his late night show? Okay, sorry, I lost my cool. Okay? By 2014, there were 400 players in the NFL who weighed over 300 pounds. It's closer to 500 players now, which is 20% of the league.
Wow.
Who are 300 pounds or more. Only one player, and this is the fact you got to hear, only one player in the NFL weighed over 300 pounds in 1970, and it was your mother.
She eats healthier now.
Well, I
My
can't
mom played the
imagine.
CFL.
I can't imagine a starting offensive lineman in the NFL who doesn't weigh 300.
That must be nice.
In this day and age.
Do you think it'd be nice to weigh 300 or more pounds?
You don't really have to care about if you smash a whole bag of family-sized Doritos,
That's some serious long-term damage to the body sometimes.
I mean, that's true, but it's got to be nice for a little bit.
You're making millions of dollars doing it. Yeah.
I see the positives, Ashley. I do.
Yeah, butter on everything.
Yeah.
You don't have to work into the NFL to do that.
Well, okay, sure.
To feel good about it.
No, you don't have to be an NFL player to be happy and over 300 pounds. Ice cream.
So much ice cream.
Just more
Jared.
ice cream that would just choke a cow.
And
That's
all
how
the
much
toppings.
I have to give a lot of credit to those guys who retire then and then slim
lose
down.
it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is so
Matt
impressive.
Burke comes to mind. I mean, if you've seen Matt Burke lately,
Unfortunately, I have.
I mean, he's a shell of what he used to be. That's a good thing.
Yes, that is a good thing.
Hey, Josh.
Yes, sir.
Jason Kelce is just a bearded Hawk-Tua girl, according to one of our listeners. He's just a bearded Hawk-Tua girl. The hockey club came into town and smooth shut the pigs out.
What was that? Seriously, what?
I don't know. It was getting shut out. The hockey club's goaltender, a kid by the name of Veg Melka. I doubt that's the correct pronunciation, but I'm going to go with it. Veg Melka made 26 saves. The final was Utah Hockey Club 4, Pigs, Jack Ola.
Wow.
Another member of the hockey club to have a strong showing last night was Barrett Hayton. Don't be hating, I bet he says. Don't you think, after a big game?
Oh, I'm sure people say that to him.
Definitely.
He scored twice. Utah's won 3 in a row. The Pigs have lost 4 of 5. The Russian kid was back in the mix. They're the final event on Hockey Day tomorrow at home against Calgary, and then Sunday they play the Chicago Blackhawks. I don't know what happened last night. I watched the game, lightly. It was a light watching. It wasn't a thorough watching. They just got their asses kicked, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah. The hockey club.
A lot going on in town this weekend.
How is the hockey club doing in Utah? Are they selling out?
I would imagine so, but I have no idea.
Has this turned out to be a good thing for the NHL?
I would imagine they're selling like hotcakes, like all new franchises do.
I'd be curious to know all
But I don't know. I have not looked into any specifics.
Okay.
So, did we talk about this already? This sounds familiar to me. They were looking to maybe call their club the Yetis next year, but then the folks who make the coolers said no or something?
They're not cool with that yet. I didn't mean that. But, yeah, they don't like that.
All right. Well,
just leave it the Utah Hockey Club.
Right. But Randy, they won't. They have to make it something scary and original, and then they'll make the jagged numbers on the jerseys, and it's just the worst. It's the worst.
It looks like they sold out all of their season tickets this year.
Wow. Good. It's not a big arena, though, right?
No,
2,000 seats.
11,000.
It's 2,000. 1,500.
It's Ritter Arena.
They're playing at Braemar.
They play in a library.
It's 100 people.
Golden Gopher Hockey Bros are looking at another weekend showdown with Michigan State on the road skis, 6 o'clock tonight, 5 o'clock tomorrow night. Now, these two clubs... Is that PJ?
Yeah.
PJ's the hockey coach
He's going to be there.
Well, no, he's just pumped
He's a
about
fan. He's a big
excited.
U of M guy.
He's not coaching. He's just excited for the matchup. These two clubs represent the number 3 and number 2 ranked clubs in the silly pairwise rankings, Boston College being number 1 at the moment. Oh, Hockey Day in Minnesota tomorrow. I almost forgot. Well, there's games today, over there at Valley Fair. What do they got going on? Orono versus Delano.
Oh, I love Delano.
Yeah, I do, too. I love Delano.
I don't know much about their hockey, what they got going on for hockey, but I'd cheer them on.
I just know I hate Orono. Tweederville. That's all they are.
Oh.
Tweederville.
What does that nickname derive from? Do you know?
One of my dad's buddies married a gal from Orono, and he just would always give her a hard time saying, "You're from Tweederville." But she grew up there in 1933, so, it was very different back then.
Oh, it's probably nothing but countryside.
Yeah. So that's where I got it from, was one of my dad's buddies would bust his wife's chops by calling her hometown Tweederville.
Tweederville.
Who else plays tomorrow? This team, that team?
Well, I'm looking at.
I didn't mean to say tomorrow. I meant today. There are some games today, but tomorrow's the main event. Yes, Brad Ryder.
It looks like the Gopher alumni are playing some collegiate alumni today at like 5:30.
Oh.
Brian Bonnen, Ben Clymer, Eric Westrom, Nate Miller, Jeff Tafe.
Oh.
Guys like that are playing against. Zach Parisi is listed here.
Oh, that's great.
And Mark Parrish and.
I talked to Zachy a little bit last night. He didn't mention an alumni game, probably because he thought some of us would show up and drink too much beer or something.
That sounds really
Make
fun.
a fool out of them. That sounds like a really cool event.
5:30 is the time that starts.
Oh,
Brad Ryder. Brian Bonnen, he still owes me tickets to a Badger series.
Does he really?
Yeah.
You know what? Lame claim to fame. His brother is my neighbor, and we talked Brian Bonnen.
You were there when this was happening, Josh.
I was.
This was one of our stupid Edge Fest concerts that we never wanted to go to.
What happened? I don't remember this.
We were hanging around Summers outside the backstage area, and Brian Bonnen approached me and said he wanted to get backstage to meet Guar or something. I don't know who it was. Some band he wanted to see. And I said, well, yeah, I'll get you backstage for some friggin' Badger tickets. And he said, you got a deal. Never saw the sumbitch ever again.
You want me to pass that on? I got to walk 2 houses down. I could talk to his brother and figure this out.
His brother's a jerk.
Nah.
No, I'm sure he's a very nice guy.
His brother, athletic as well. The first day I met him, we've got you guys know I have a basketball hoop in my driveway, right?
Yeah.
And just as a joke, I said, hey, why don't you dunk the ball real quick? And he did. He got up there and dunked it. I couldn't believe it.
Well, all right, man.
A slam
right
dunk.
over me. He posterized me in my own driveway.
I like to give him a hard time that I won him the Hobie Baker because I was his SID that year.
SID, what does that mean?
Sports Information Director.
Sports information director.
Sports information. Cubby having a hoop in his driveway is like me having a putting green in my backyard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I told you, I get made fun of by the neighborhood kids.
Was it there when you moved in, Josh, or did you put it in yourself?
No, it was there.
Okay.
You got to work on the mechanics of the jump shot.
Yeah, I know. I get a lot of crap. I'm like I said, the neighborhood kids are all over me.
Josh, would you like me to coach you a little bit?
No, I've thought about asking you for a couple of tips. Because, every once in a while it'll be okay. But, I mean, honestly, we've got a third grader in our neighborhood who's a great athlete. But
I'm not afraid of a third grader.
He's the best smack talker I've ever met. For example, yesterday, his name's Leo. And yesterday we were driving to my son's basketball game. And I rolled down the window. He's getting off the bus. And I said, "Hey, Leo, when I come back, I'm going to beat you up." And he just looked at me and said, "Good luck."
Oh, man. I wouldn't mess with a kid named Leo.
That's why I love that kid.
Let's get a promoter. Let's sanction this fight.
He's the same kid I told you. I went inside after we played basketball for a little bit, and I heard him say to my son, "Your dad sucks at basketball."
I don't like this kid.
And your son didn't even back you up, did he?
Hell no.
Nope.
No, he knows I do.
He's like, "Yeah, man, my dad sucks at a lot of stuff."
Well, I felt like I was being, destroyed a little bit too much there, Ashley, and you made it worse.
A little bit of fundamentals, Josh. A little bit of fundamentals taught to you would help your jump shot.
Yes.
I can already think of one thing that you need to cut out from your routine.
What's that?
When you take a jump shot. It's when you release the ball, you have to try to cut this out. Don't go,
Oh, just because it's so much work.
yeah.
Someone named Keith texted in, or texted in. He texted in.
Keith, sure.
Keith called me? He called me a cone.
Oh. No, this is... I don't enjoy any of this. Timberwolves are at home tomorrow night to play Denver.
Tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow afternoon, yeah.
2:00 game.
The All-Star... 2 o'clock national game. The All-Star starters were announced yesterday. So look for these 10 guys, plus their backups, to put on a very uninspiring performance whenever the NBA All-Star game happens. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Steph Curry, LeBron James, the Durantula, Nikola Jokic from the West. Very predictable selections from the West. In the East, Jalen Brunson, Don Mitchell, Jason Tatum, the Greek Freak, and Coral. Mm-hmm. Well, it was a terrible show last year. It was just terrible.
Well, don't expect it to be any better this year.
No.
Well, they're tweaking it again this year.
I know.
They're splitting it up into 4 teams and doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so confusing. It's so dumb.
Yes. And they're playing to 30 points or something like that. I don't know.
Brad and Nick, did you happen to see the discussion? I don't know if it was last night of Shaq and Barkley and Kenny talking about Jimmy Butler?
No.
Oh, my God.
Did they light him up?
It's so good. Shaq is actually defending him, which is amazing.
Well, that would make for good TV because if he's defending him and Charles is going after him, that's the best.
I watched it this morning on Twitter. It's a 5-minute discussion, and it's heated, and it's great arguments on both sides. It's really good. I mean, Miami's in such a difficult position because if Butler was just an average player, this wouldn't even be a discussion. But because he's still a pretty good player at 35 and they want to get something in return, it's a mess. It's such a good discussion. Really good.
I missed it. Speaking of Shaq, somebody texted this in earlier on this morning. Did you guys know that Shaq recently got a new yacht?
Good for him.
Okay. And someone busted his balls online saying he should call that yacht the Free Throw. That way he will never sink it.
That's a good line.
That's really good.
You guys have noticed that NBA players love to torture each other's genitals. Draymond Green started this trend. Other men's penises, he can't get enough.
The kick?
Kicking and punching and squeezing. The latest culprit is Lou Dort. of the Oklahoma City Thunder. He dumped a nut shot on Daniel Gafford of the Dallas Mavericks last night, and Dort was ejected. Just kind of palm slapped him in the bag penis.
That video's up on 93x.com.
Yeah.
I got to see that.
Palm shot to the penis bag. Trying to get it.
I take it on purpose.
Oh, sure looked on purpose.
Yeah.
Yes, he was ejected. It was just a cheap shot. One of those, Gafford was setting a screen for Kyrie Irving. Dort's trying to get around the screen and slapped Gafford right in the rod.
I don't see it on the website.
That doesn't
Whose
surprise
website?
me. Stupid website.
Our website?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know we have it up there, Ashley, or it went away?
Don't see
or
it.
I posted it up there. Let me see what went wrong.
Well, we'll follow through as quickly as we can, Randy Shaver.
That's okay. I just I wanted to see it.
Nut shot.
Nut shot.
Oh, God. And Golden Gopher men's basketball is at the Barn tomorrow to play the University of Oregon Dam Ducks.
All right.
3 wins in a row, maybe?
Could it be?
2
Could
against top 20 teams, maybe?
Here's the one thing that I'm most curious about. It's not whether they win or lose. I hope they win.
Mm-hmm.
It's the crowd. Will the crowd show up?
Mm-hmm.
They've won 2 big games in a row.
Right.
And here you are at home against a team that you rarely play.
Mm-hmm.
And they're ranked. The students are back in school. Will they get a crowd tomorrow?
The unfortunate thing again is are they playing an afternoon game?
I can't say for sure.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
I mean, we just mentioned. Look at all the things we just mentioned that are going on in town this weekend. I mean, the Wolves are playing at the exact same time. They're playing the Nuggets at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Hockey Day Minnesota. You've got Twins Fest. If they were playing this game on a Thursday night, I think, you'd probably have a good chance at a good crowd. But
I don't know how much crossover there is, though, Brad, between Wolves fans and Gopher fans.
I think there's more than you think.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out. It's pretty cool that Ben Johnson and these kids have gotten things together lately and beat a couple of really good teams. That Iowegian game was fun, and I still hate myself for missing the Michigan game. So, there's a lot going on. Brad, you and your old man better get off to an early start.
Well, yeah, that's exactly right. We're going to be at Twins Fest this whole time while those basketball games are going on.
What's the maddest your dad
oh, my gosh.
ever got?
We don't have enough time left for me to...
You got to pick one real keeper.
What?
The maddest he's ever been at you.
Oh, God.
Your lovely 83-year-old father.
Okay.
What did you do?
I was a senior in high school, and I still had somewhat of a curfew in place because it was the 80s. And I think we were over at somebody's house celebrating Halloween. And I was supposed to be home at midnight. And you know how it is. I mean, you lose track of time and whatnot, and it's probably 1:45 when I'm driving home. And if you can picture these farm roads, these gravel roads, and our house was situated so that if you looked out the back window, you could see for about 3 or 4 miles down the road if somebody was coming down the gravel road.
Sure.
I'm driving like a bat out of hell on this gravel road to try to get home because I know I'm late for curfew. I was probably going, 70, 80 miles an hour on this gravel road. I pull into the driveway, and now I'm trying to be quiet. And I'm getting out of my car to walk in the house, and he met me at the front door. And he said, "Hand me the keys. You're not going to need them for a while."
He saw you the whole way.
Yeah. And he said, "How fast were you going?" And I said, "Well, I don't know if it's any." And he's like, "You were going awful fast coming down that road." And he was really pissed.
And that was his car, I imagine.
Well, I mean, it was the one that I got.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Was he a yeller? Is he a yeller?
Oh, he was, but he's mellowed as he's got.
Yeah, he ain't got the wind for that anymore.
83-year-old not yelling at you?
Brad, wore him out.
Well, maybe piss him off in public at Twins Fest and see if he still got it in him. My old man had a similar sounding
he was
story.
Pissed that night.
Well, I bet. My dad grew up in a tiny little town in southwestern Minnesota called Lake Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
And so at the time he was 16 or whatever, so this is 1956 or something. And if I remember the way he told the story, He drove a bunch of gals and whatnot. I believe it maybe was a big sporting event. Well, then again, that wouldn't make sense because he made every club, because you make every club automatically in a town that small. There was a big event somewhere across town, like Pipestone or Ballatin, one of those tiny little towns down there. So he drives a gang of friends to this event. And you guys, obviously Brad Ryder, growing up in a little town like Clara City, all these tiny little 2-lane highways separate these towns. Well, on the way back home from the event, there's just this long line of cars all going back to Lake Wilson. Well, my dad did not want to put up with this long line of cars and going 30 miles an hour. So he just stepped on it, and he passes like 50 cars, in the oncoming lane. Bat out of hell type, like you said, Brad Ryder, like going 85, 90 miles per hour to pass everybody in this long line of cars and get in front of them so he could lead the pack back home. And the last car he passed were his parents. And he still remembers the look on his mom and dad's face. Because I'm sure my late grandfather was looking in the rearview mirror saying, who is this prick coming up faster? You know what I mean?
And then they both look at the exact same time.
The last car he passed was his friggin' folks.
That kid wasn't raised right, whoever that might be.
That was 1A. 1B is when I got in a car accident before I got my driver's license.
All right. So but you had the farm license.
I had the farm permit.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You cracked up one of your folks' cars.
Yeah.
And it was all your fault?
Yeah.
Oh. Were you full of beer?
No.
Smoking reefer?
I still picture the look on his face when he drove up to get me.
They woke you up extra early for chores the next day, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, tell them that we said hello.
Yeah, I will.
And have fun
That's awesome.
That's a great event that you guys are getting to do together. And Randy Shaver, have a nice weekend in Florida.
All right.
We'll
Sounds
talk
good.
to everybody on Monday. Every damn buddy. We will return here in a few minutes on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Dana here for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. We all know January is one of the coldest months of the year, and not that cheery, fun kind of Christmas cold. Nah, just the dark, dank January cold. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is well aware of this, and that's why they're offering $40 off a furnace tune-up to keep you warm during the Minnesota cold. The last thing you want is to be huddled around an iffy space heater you bought from some shady targeted ad. Oh, and how about this? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning has now been helping Minnesotans for over 95 years. So book your appointment now at standardheating.com. That's standardheating.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen here. Join me and my compadre, Chris Brockman, every Monday on the Overreaction Monday podcast as we dive into the latest headlines across the NFL playoffs.
Well, Rich, okay, you were late to this party.
Obviously, it would be surprising, but not shocking. And that's the thing I loved about watching a lot of these games, man. Come react or overreact with us leading up to the big game.
Overreaction Monday. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
It's game over.
Over, man. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
I mean, you suck like you've never sucked before.
On 93X.
Oh, I feel pretty good about this. I do. It's 93X Rock. It's early in the morning. Welcome back to the Half-Assed Morning Show. Creeping up on 8:32. We are. Does everyone know about this, Josh? 9 Inch Nails coming back to town?
They are. And I know there's a few folks in the building that are pretty darn excited. I've seen them once.
Oh, me too.
I think we might have been there together.
Many years ago.
Was this at Roy Wilkins?
No.
Okay, then it wasn't us together. They did that one.
They're coming back to town on their Peel It Back tour. What are they going to peel back? Skin?
Oh, I don't know. The layers.
Yeah.
They'll have something on the screens in the background disturbing.
Usually in the background there's a video of a cow tipping over in a field and dying. And then,
Yeah, and like rotting very fast. They speed up.
yeah, and then some kind of surgery.
Yeah, usually there is, right?
Yeah, and then it goes.
You know what I think happened? Somebody that runs Guantanamo, they wrote stuff down and like, oh yeah, yeah, let's add that to the video. Nine Inch Nails are very inspirational.
And then there's a video of like a starving three-legged dog limping down a street, and then they cut to anyway. 9 Inch Nails is coming back to town this summer, August 17th. Coming to the X. That's where I saw him years ago. Josh was at the X skate.
Oh, how are they in a? It was fun seeing them in a smaller venue.
I was so high.
Were you really?
Tickets go on sale. What's that?
Probably ecstasy?
No.
That seems like that's the drug you'd want to see one of their shows on, right? Ecstasy?
As long as you can get your hands on some by August 17th, we're going to be in good shape. Tickets go on sale next Wednesday.
Ashley, you're my plug.
At noon.
I'll hook you up.
Right now on the Luther Bloomington Kia text line. Text pigs. See, that worries me. Does that mean they're going to peel the skin back of a pig?
Huh?
Live in concert?
Probably.
It's the Peel It Back tour, bro.
That'd be pretty cool.
You can make pork rinds then.
Text the keyword text pigs to 651-989-9393 for a chance to win tickets before you can even buy them to go see whatever they have planned on the 9 Inch Nails Peel It Back tour at the X. Again, tickets go on sale next Wednesday. Visit our website for concert and ticket information.
Question.
Yes.
Is there pork in pork rinds?
Don't know.
I thought it was deep fried skin of pig.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I guess I have no idea.
Because I remember as a kid thinking there was grasshoppers and grasshopper pie, and I never ate it for that reason. Until one of my uncles slapped me in the face and said, "You're an idiot." So pork rinds, I always assumed was just kind of like a chip of some sort.
Right across your moneymaker.
Yeah. I had it coming.
All right. Ashley here. I hate to always pick on you, but you set yourself up.
Oh, no. What'd she do?
Oh, no.
You know how earlier we were talking about work, weren't we? We talked about this. We talked about that. We talked about the one coworker who doesn't do Dick Tracy. Sometimes they gain themselves a fun nickname. Ashley, trying to get us to stop busting her chops, she presented this information a day or two ago. She says there was a study done.
Now I know.
You're going to like this, Josh. She's trying to get us off her case. There was a study done, she says, that basically says that your coworkers don't give a if you're late to work. Come on.
Dude, when I saw that
Take your medicine, will you?
When I saw that headline, I was like, oh, I'm going to click on that so hard.
A study says that your coworkers don't give a damn if you're late to work. That's not true.
Well, it's not in I think in like the more you read, it's just not in the top 5. Like it's not something they care about more than other things.
You have to just accept that you are not a reliable employee.
This is the only place that's ever been an issue. I was always, because I was taught, my mom always taught me if you're not early, you're late. And I was always like 15 minutes early everywhere else, but
Josh said we'd like to see a little bit of that, he said. Some company called Monster asked 1,000 people what's the most important workplace manner. And only 14% of employees cited punctuality as the most important manner.
it's not the energy drink company, by the way, Monster. I got excited. I thought that's what it was.
Oh, no, it's the job hunting site, right?
Yeah.
That would make more sense.
Why are they doing this study? Interesting.
Thank you to the Brother and Sisterhood. There is fried pork skins. You were right, Wapple, in pork rinds. And I'm being told there's no turtles in turtle cheesecake. No real turtles.
What?
Darn it.
Which is unfortunate because I like turtles.
I know you
guys
do.
know I like
that we have the audio to prove it. So Ashley's basically trying to tell us, Josh, hey, don't worry about it when I'm late. Nobody cares, she says.
Well, this is the only reason why it was carried around here. And you've changed. You've turned over a new leaf.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, you'd get here and it would take you like 5 minutes to realize we were on the air. You're just kind of zoned out trying to get in the mood to do it.
Oh, yeah, that was rough when I had that really long drive. Yeah, because it was about an hour, I think.
I still can't believe you did that.
So you're
About
still
an
zoned
hour.
out from the car.
Yeah, still in car mode.
There you go. That's the cute trick Ashley's tried to pull here the last couple of days. Do you know many folks who are an only child?
Not many.
Not many. Well, okay, no. There was one friend
One
of
or
mine.
two?
His brothers were so much older than him. He was essentially an only child,
Okay.
like raised in a house where he was the only kid.
I have a few friends that grew up the only child.
I can only think of one right now.
You can tell, too.
Okay, let's play that game then, because that's where I'm going with this. Ashley says you can tell. All right, and I'm going to try to think of the one person that right now has come to mind. The one person from my life that is an only child, and we'll see if this all plays out. People on social media are talking about the dead giveaways that someone grew up as an only child. Here's what they say. Some of this stuff is kind of strange. I can't tell if they're joking here. They cut a piece of cake in two and can't immediately tell which is bigger?
Well, that's got to be a joke,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
That's a joke?
It's got to be because you know how like I had my brother, my sister, my cousin who grew up like an older brother with me, and yeah, when there's cake or whatever, you're very aware.
Yes.
Of, whoa, why is his a little bit bigger?
That's true.
Yep.
That's very true.
Oh, or if you got a pizza delivered and the slices weren't all the same size. I don't know. I want that one. That
Right.
one has one more piece of pepperoni.
Okay, so this is a joke, but also maybe it makes
could be something to it.
Yeah, it could be
Yeah.
something to it. An only child cuts a piece of cake in two and can't tell which is bigger because they never had to care. They're great with people's parents because they grew up chatting with adults. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that. Sure, there's a my friend was. I mean, his parents were much older. I would like when we were in high school. His dad was in his 70s, right?
Okay.
And so he was awesome with parents
I got
and adults.
I got a couple buddies who are headed in that direction. By the time their kids are in high school, they're going to be friggin' 70.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
that was
Yeah, go ahead.
my
So,
life.
what were you saying
He
about
was always a parent's favorite.
Okay.
And he wasn't like an Eddie Haskell for you, me, and 5 other people who get that reference. But he was just a genuinely nice guy, and he was so good with talking with people who were older. So that is exactly right.
I've gotten that quite a bit, and I think it's because there's a big gap in me and some of my brother's ages.
What's the closest?
So the closest, the only one that's close is my brother Nicholas. He's 29. I'm not sure. How old am I? Yeah, okay, he's 29. And then the next brother is in his 40s. So.
Ex-Hotel Sheezus is an only child. So let us know. Text back and let us know if any of this rings true for you.
Yeah. You got her lined up on the text machine. Let's see what she says. The dead giveaways that someone grew up as an only child. And wow, thinking about it, I mean, obviously I could come up with a few drawbacks, but just now thinking about it, boy, my life would have been a hell of a lot easier if I would have been an only child. I've told you, I like my sister a lot, but I could have, and maybe I should have killed my brother when I had the chance when we were 12.
I also like your sister a lot. Insomniac Jesus, and this I could tell you is very true. Only children don't eat as fast as kids with siblings. Yeah, we race through it because
Yep.
the commune.
You don't have to hurry.
Between the cousins and my brother and my sister and then my uncles. I mean, if you wanted seconds, you had to go so fast. And I've slowed down. I've learned to slow down. But yeah, up until just a few years ago, I was crazy
What the heck?
fast.
Now I'm wondering if that's why my fiance eats the way he does.
Oh, what? Your fiance is an only child?
No, no, he grew up with the brothers, though. He eats ridiculously fast.
Fast, yeah.
Gross.
One uncle, he like hovered over his plate so you couldn't get anything in there when he wasn't looking. Because that's the other thing. If you look to the left, somebody on the right, they're taking a piece of steak or whatever.
That's crazy, dude.
According to this conversation online, only children struggle with conflict. It's all or nothing. People with siblings know how to negotiate and share and when to pick your battles. Did I say that right? Know how to negotiate a share. Who wrote this? Like some college professor or something trying to show off? They're basically saying The trait of an only child, another trait of an only child, is they're just not good with conflict because they don't have experience in the field.
I think, too, you're better at taking crap because you're
100%.
just destroyed by your siblings. And so, I think for me, it was probably good. I mean, I think it's kind of good.
You grow a thick skin.
Oh, yeah.
You get tough.
Yeah, because whatever somebody else says is like, yeah, I've heard much worse from my siblings.
That makes perfect sense. If you're an only child and you're just sitting around the house with mom and dad and all they do is coddle you, you go to school, someone calls you pizza face, and you come uncorked.
Yeah.
Because you've never been insulted so deeply in your life.
I think that's gender specific though. Like if you grew up with all sisters, and like you're the only boy, I've heard that's not usually the case. Like if you have brothers, that's when you get it. That's when you're used to being treated like garbage at home. But
well, there's something to be said for that, right? We have some experience. I mean, Wapple.
Yep.
Oh,
Ross.
I forget that you're the only dude.
Ross, same thing. Our former coworker, Ross.
We're talking
I
about
was pretty much left alone, but
Now we're
my
talking
sisters
about
always fought, and then I was just off on my own.
we're talking about being the only dude in a family full of sisters?
Yeah.
Oh, I suppose, sure.
Grover, before Wapple was born, Jesus said he's an only child, and so far all this tracks.
All right, how about this one? Grover before Wapple Jesus. Only children get unreasonably angry about group punishments. They come off all like, well, I didn't do anything wrong. Why am I being punished? People with siblings are more nonchalant about it. Yeah, only children never dealt with that full parental meltdown where they just lock the doors and nobody's going anywhere.
That sucked.
A lot of this is food related. We already covered this. They eat their food leisurely. They're comfortable leaving their Halloween candy in the kitchen. Their roughhousing skills are below par. Roughhousing skills are not up to par. They have a stronger aversion to gentle bullying. We kind of covered that. They're more content being alone for extended periods of time.
That makes sense.
Being alone has evolved into one of my favorite things in the entire world.
I feel so bad. My fiance got home from work early yesterday, and I got mad, and I felt so awful. It's like, I don't know where that came from. I'm sorry. I was just in like the flow of doing my own thing. I had like a specific plan of what I was going to do before he got home, and I was like, why are you home so early? What the heck? He's like, oh, all right. Well, I'm happy to see you.
Have you, one day you and your fiance will reach the point where you're completely comfortable sitting in separate rooms all day, every day.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
We like being next to each other still.
No, I don't have that problem.
Okay, so now some people disagreeing with some of this. I would say, at first at least, there were a lot of people who agreed with this. Corporate She-Jesus said she's an only child. I wasn't handed anything. If I wanted anything, I had to work for it. Started working at 13 to keep a roof over my head. I do get along with people older than me. We have to grow up faster as all the responsibilities fall on us.
I believe everything she's saying, but she started taking care of herself at 13?
That's what she said.
To keep a roof over your house? What do you... A roof over your head?
Maybe help pay the bills and stuff with mom and dad.
Dang.
But to me, it sounds like she didn't have mom and dad. Mom and dad were a-holes or something.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, my wife had to work earlier than that to help, my mother-in-law. She was his only mom.
That sounds like a hell of a...
Only mom. Wait, how do you say that? Single mom.
Single mom.
That sounds like a hell of a...
But also only mom.
Only mom.
It was the only mom.
Onlymoms.com.
Hell of an upbringing there for that listener. All right.
FXT Jesus said he grew up with a sister, and there were verbal assaults daily. So she would tear him down with her words.
We were nasty to each other 24 hours a day.
Oh, and your sister is clever and tough. So I bet she had some pretty good stuff.
She used to be. She's SAWFT soft and all, but when she was young, she could get you. And I don't care who you are. Verbally, she could hit you so hard you would wish you were dead.
Oh, yeah, I could see it.
That.
She's quick. I mean, I've seen her go after people that had it coming.
And we were really nasty to each other. We were really mean to each other most of the time. But that's just kind of how we operate. Fair enough. We've been... What is that? Turn it off.
That's 2, 3.
We're fine. We don't need the thing.
But I don't even know what station this is. I don't know the morning.
That was maddening right there. I don't even know what happened. It's the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. We've been talking about the only child. Rare, it seems to me, but they're out there. And they're usually very weird, Ashley said. No, she didn't say that.
I mean...
The only child. The internet.
There's some people disagreeing with the, hey, if you have older sisters, you don't get crap and stuff like that. There are plenty of people who text in and said that's not the case at all. Like some younger brothers. Got all kinds of crap and even physical abuse from their older siblings, just like a lot of us did.
Social media has been talking about the dead giveaways that someone grew up as an only child. Well, we've covered a lot so far. We got a few more things here. And a lot of it really does make sense. They're more independent. They get up and leave a room without saying anything or announcing where they're going. Not that I think that's necessary for anyone, but that's one of the traits, apparently, of an only child. You just up and leave. You don't say dick.
Yeah, wow, that made me realize that I usually say where I'm going.
You do?
Yeah,
you
even in my own house. If I'm sitting on the couch, well, I gotta go pee.
I get my balls busted for announcing where I'm going at all times at the house. The wife's going to choke me out. I don't know why it bothers her so much, but I say, well, I'm going to bed. And she says, the announcements again. I don't know why you always have to make the announcements.
Well, that seems like a fair thing to say.
Yeah. Or I'll say, well, look, I'm going to go downstairs and play some pocket billiards. And she'd say, you don't have to tell me.
Oh.
I don't, and I don't know why I do it, but I do. Only children talk to themselves. Again, I can only think of one now, so only children talk to themselves. Only children still have toys and stuff from their childhood.
You think I'm an only child?
Yeah, I still have that kind of stuff.
And one more. Someone said they don't guard themselves. For example, when laying down, my cousin, who's an only child, will just lay like a starfish. But if I did that, I'd be punched in the bladder. Again, this goes back to your siblings picking on you and whatnot.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You don't guard yourself when you don't make yourself too vulnerable. If you have siblings, if you're an only child, hell, you spread it wide open because no one's going to bother you. A couple more text messages from listeners. My Way or the Highway Jesus says he and his wife are both only children, and it is brutal. An only child doesn't knock, a listener says. An only child doesn't knock before entering a room. They're not used to that kind of thing. They got the whole house to themselves most days. Now, this is all very interesting. But while talking about all these different family situations, I've always been most fascinated by folks that come from a huge family. I'm not talking about 6, 7, 8 people. I'm talking about the 16, 17 kids in a family. And one of them, this should have been obvious to me, but it wasn't. One of the most interesting things I ever heard from a feller who came from a gang of 17 kids, I think, right? 16, 17 kids. He said, and he was one of the youngest ones.
That poor woman.
Oh, I know. Unbelievable.
Threw a lot of bags of peas in that house.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He said the most interesting thing about it, and he's near an old man now. Not quite, I wouldn't quite define him as an old man, but he's getting there. He said the most interesting thing about it is when you're one of the younger ones, your siblings, your brothers and sisters, the older ones are pretty much strangers. He really never got to know them. And it makes sense because they're in such different stages of their lives. He's 15, they're 36. They're married and have 3, 4 kids. He's 40, they're retiring. He's 60, they're dead. You know, so you always think that you're so close with your brothers and sisters, but he said there's 7 or 8 of them that he really didn't know any better than a guy on the street.
Wow.
But that's how it plays out. When you're, why am I going to be going to my 58-year-old sister's event when I'm 21? You know what I mean? I always found that kind of interesting.
It makes sense. I mean, they've never lived in the same house or anything like that.
Yeah. They're out of the house before this guy.
Yeah.
They live, they're married before this guy's in first grade, for Christ's sake.
That is
Probably
so crazy.
more like an aunt or uncle.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Right. We better get going again, Cubby.
Ashley, where are you going to be again this weekend?
I'm going to be at the Minneapolis Boat Show in partnership with Progressive Insurance. It's at the Minneapolis Convention Center from 1 to 3 p.m. I will be there, but it goes on
Today?
all weekend on Saturday.
Tomorrow? Okay.
Yes, Saturday I'll be there, and so will my parents, as I told you guys earlier.
That is awesome. I mean,
You should have led with that.
Groundbreaking stuff.
If I'm headed to the boat show, somebody's parents better be there.
Ashley's parents featuring the boat show.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I'll be color commentating a Bago tournament, it's a cornhole tournament. Their fun spin on it. So, yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Come and make fun of me.
You can win a Sea-Doo.
Yes, and it's so sick.
And you said you can still sign up if you want to be a part of that?
Yes, you can still sign up. You can sign up at MinneapolisBoatShow.com, and Wapple told me it's on 93x.com as well. And you don't have to be incredibly good at bags. Actually, I think you don't even know. You don't even have to know how to play accurately. They'll teach you how. So.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, have fun. I love those types of shows. Best of luck to Dairy Feeding Jesus and the guys up at Lake of the Woods, catching some beers and drinking fish. Happy birthday to Scottopotamus from your smoking hot wife. 5 more feet of Fury Jesus. Happy 22nd to Bacon from Sits on Baby's Jesus. Happy birthday to Bald-Headed Brown Swiss Jesus. Happy 23rd to Minnesota Two-Step Jesus from Pink Sock Jesus and the Meeker County Pack of Strays. Thank you for listening, whether live or to the podcast. Can't thank you enough for that. Hope you have an awesome weekend. Hope the Chiefs lose, and hope to see you again on Monday.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor. Dana here for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. We all know January is one of the coldest months of the year, and not that cheery, fun kind of Christmas cold. Nah, just the dark, dank January cold. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is well aware of this, and that's why they're offering $40 off a furnace tune-up to keep you warm during the Minnesota cold. The last thing you want is to be huddled around an iffy space heater you bought from some shady targeted ad. Oh, and how about this? Standard Heating and Air Conditioning has now been helping Minnesotans for over 95 years. So book your appointment now at standardheating.com. That's standardheating.com.